The Comic-Con that is a mile above the rest returns in 2013, and it's bigger than ever.
That's right. Stan Lee's going to be at Denver Comic-Con this year.
They also have George Takei at Denver Comic-Con 2013.
Plus Kelly Hu and Will Wheaton.
Friend of the podcast, Georges Jonty, will be there. So go online to denvercomiccon.com where you can buy tickets. Stay tuned. VIP tickets for Stan Lee will be available. Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast of Denver Comic-Con 2013. Hey, good news, Real Nerds fans. We just got approved for our press credentials at Denver Comic-Con.
Which means that we now actually have tickets. Because before, we were the official podcast that wasn't going to Denver Comic-Con.
Yeah, we were just banking on the fact of our amazing ticket-getting abilities for...
Official, unofficial?
Yes, yeah. We are the official, unofficial...
Official, unofficial.
Well, we're unofficially the official.
Yeah, unofficially the official podcast.
Yeah.
Like, do you have
follow you guys.
half-ass made lanyards?
Oh, no,
like,
we know
I just got
people who
dental
work
floss.
there.
That's all I got.
No, we just happen to know people that work there because last year we were the only podcast that was any good.
Whoa, that's a little unfair.
So you're the official, unofficial podcast in Bizarro World where it's just like, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's really by default that we are.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys just heard our guests today. We'll get into them really quickly. Remember, if you go to tweakedaudio.com and you're looking for earbuds, you're like, oh, my earbuds suck dick. Well, you can go to tweakedaudio.com and get some awesome ones.
I bought a new iPod just the other day. I went to TradeSmart that we always go to and opened it up, and I didn't even unwrap the shitty ones that come with it because I got my tweaked ones. Like they're awesome.
Exactly. Tweakedaudio.com at the checkout.
What makes these headphones?
Yeah.
Let's see them real fast.
Okay.
I got them here in my pocket.
Because I'm curious, because
I
I am in the market for new headphones, and
so
this is just a weird coincidence that this came out.
They sell a few different kinds. The
Look at
ones
that
I have
little
here are
satchel.
the parkour ones. Yeah, they come with a little
The
satchel.
parkour?
Yeah, they come with a man bag.
They're like sweatbands for your ears.
They, I've got these are the parkour ones. They've got they're the in-ear kind. You'll notice now they're
Man, dig.
they're flat cable, so they don't tangle as much. Which sounds like a joke, but it's actually true.
Now, how many monies do these cost?
Well,
like
you know
those
what? We
ones
can help
there-
you out that, Spencer. If you go to tweakedaudio.com, log on, and then your checkout, enter in Real Nerds, one word, REELNERDS. You get a third off your whole order.
A third.
A third, sir.
That's the coolest thing I've heard all night.
Even if
Right
even if a third is like mathematically kind of hard to do, like that's
I will not use my brain whatsoever.
Yeah, no,
for
they
math.
do all the math for you.
I'll let you know. Zeus just timed me that you gave that thing to me in a crumpled that was in a satchel in your pocket.
Yeah.
Sweating through all Burt Wonderstone.
Yeah.
You had some popcorn grease, hit it a couple times. How long did it take me to unravel that from a wadded up mess?
Second that.
5 seconds.
5 seconds. He counted for me.
Yeah. And
We
you did it with
twice.
one hand.
We did it twice. Yeah.
That was
I know,
the best
they're really
commercial
nice.
we've ever done for Tweaked Audio.
Yeah. We just convinced some people. Like we handed them to somebody, and they were like, "Hey, that's kind of impressive."
I'm also a hype man. That's like my day job. I pride on my hype man skills.
Oh, good. Well, thank you.
Real Nerds 2013.
Woo! Oh, we should introduce some people.
We should. We
Since
should
they're
totally
all
introduce
here.
some people.
2013. All up in this bitch.
Don't miss it.
We are sitting with 3 filmmakers, and Real Nerds, we usually start with fan mail, but this week we're starting with Filmmaker Spotlight. Pause for dramatic effect.
Yeah, there's music that goes in.
Yeah,
there.
we interstitial
No, it's
music.
okay. It's all right.
Yeah, you guys edit it together.
We do. Well, we
He just
don't.
said-
Brad
yeah,
edits
yeah,
it together.
he just said we got good cuts, Brad. I think that's a.
So
I like that you have those little interstitials like Hollywood Babylon and stuff like that. Those are really cool. I really like those.
Thank
Like,
you.
those
Thank
are
you.
always fun little additions.
Took a while to get those in the show, but
Yeah,
they're there now.
yeah. We're going on 100 episodes, boys.
Yep.
Getting real close.
Around 92 right now.
Oh man, we're in the 90s.
So we get to be in within the first 100 episodes.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so
Something we could brag about to ladies when we hit them up on the bar.
that's right. You're like, hey, Real Nerds podcast is like 397 on
Episode
Stitcher Radio.
93.
We're on that. So, introduce yourselves, and we'll start with you, Spencer.
Hi, I'm Spencer Kane.
Hi, Spencer.
Hi, guys.
Hi,
Glad to be
Spencer.
here.
Hi, I'm Zach Eastman.
Hi, Zach.
Hi.
And I'm Matty O'Connor.
Awesome.
Maddie.
Hi, Matt.
Hello.
T.
Matt Matty.
That's right.
And you guys are all, we're based in Denver for the listeners who don't already know that. You guys are all
Broncos.
Denver filmmakers.
Yes.
Like you
Yeah.
you do this guerrilla style here and are really into the local film community, which is awesome.
Heck yeah, it's pretty cool here.
Yeah.
And it's like gotten to a point where we don't even have to go guerrilla anymore. We can just people are so open and new to seeing films being made in Colorado that they'll probably be more than happy to open their doors to have that kind of experience. But
we just got our location locked for The Boy Who Stares at Heritage High School, actually,
Oh,
today.
wow.
Very cool.
Man.
it's kind of misleading because like two nice guys go in and they go, "Hi, we're filmmakers. Can we film in your place?" And they're like, "Yeah, of course."
As long as you're not wearing a trench coat, they probably don't care.
Well, speaking of The Boy Who Stares.
Oh, and then like months later when we actually come to shooting, like an army of like 20 to 30 kids with like buckets and loads of equipment, like truckloads of equipment comes and just takes over their place. And like, what did we get ourselves into? But they always get the good product, and we can leave
They're
it
like,
cleaner
how
than
many
we-
people are going to be there? Because we're going to need 2 janitors. But maybe there's going to be trash, and we need janitors.
Leave a
They're gonna use the
location better
bathrooms.
than you found it. That's our motto.
Yeah.
Know that all filmmakers.
What's involved
That
in
is exactly what I told
securing
them.
a high school? I imagine that's probably very difficult. Like, what kind of convincing goes on in order to secure a high school?
Well, the biggest thing that we had to do was the nature of the script that I wrote was essentially one of recovery from a humanist perspective. So it's a little bit more like you have to kind of convince them that you're not trying to create like
A war
a
zone.
very violent world. Like if you've ever seen the movie 0 Day or Elephant or even I've heard about American Terror. I haven't seen any trailer for anything, but I've heard good things about it. But we were trying to do something a lot different. So you had to let them know up front, well, yes, no, we're not going to like have a bunch of like fake guns and like recreate a scene like that. You have to let them know like, no, we're going to be doing creative techniques like going guerrilla underneath the tables to avoid seeing a shooter or something.
Using
like
sound effects.
yeah, so so we're not.
So it really is you pleading your case, like just trying to convince them.
Kind of, yeah. You're just like, but you also you don't want to sound like like I didn't get into this business to preach to anybody, so you also want to sound like you're actually trying to create like a valid artistic like experiment, because that's what each kind of film is for filmmaker. And I try to make it look like I'm not trying to preach anything here. I'm just telling a story, and it just happens to take place within this kind of context. I have no like message to preach.
And people like to hear the words insurance. We have insurance.
Oh, man.
Nice.
They can't get enough of it.
But like the way he's shooting it is not going to have like the gun stuff. It's kind of going to be a cool way of like making the viewer, whoever the audience is, put that in their own mind without actually showing it. And like I think that's kind of a creepier way of going about introducing that kind of subject matter.
I love that.
Right, yeah.
And I play the school shooter in that movie. I'm not sure we have to say that yet. Am I clearance? Can you have to cut that out? Do I have to beep this?
It's good to know, but what I'm sorry. What would be good to know is that Maddie's really well known for comic performances, and I can almost guarantee you this is not what you're going to be seeing.
Yeah.
So get that out of your head. But Maddie's in all of my films for better or worse, and so we have always for better. Yeah, it's always one. He's one of my number one guys. He's like my Brian O'Halloran or like Jason Mewes or something like that. I put him in everything. And but for this one, we require him to do a lot of acting because I don't want to. We're trying to not show the shooter because we're trying to create like a horror film presence. Like what's that one lesson we're taught in film school is that you don't want to show the killer's face because then otherwise it's not scary anymore.
Yeah.
So you want to create this kind of like looming presence over this community. Even 10 years later, it's still haunting them. So we've tried to create that with Maddie's look, and Maddie's look is going to be like changed significantly. Like we're putting makeup on him and stuff like that to really create something different for him. Like, and he's going to be barely recognizable. So it should be fun.
Mustache. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. One big one, it's Tweety. Just circles around, and he could just twiddle it and go, yes, I shall perform evil today.
And I was shocked to learn today that Spencer isn't Mexican, so...
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's like the number one
No.
compliment. That's like, oh man.
Get the microphone to the band.
I mean, the one that introduced me to the Real Nerds podcast was the one that Spencer said that you saw him at work, and you said that you saw.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 'cause-
open screen night. So
Yeah,
that's what got me
Brad had
hooked
seen
on
it,
him.
and I'm friends with Spencer at work, and so I had sort of been talking to Spencer and was kind of starting to get this, like, hey, we should get you guys on the show. And then Brad comes in from Open Screen Night and is talking about, like, oh, man, I saw these movies and they were so great. And I was like, wait, this is that fucking movie Spencer's in. And I'm showing him from across the room, I'm trying to show him pictures like, I know this guy. This is a guy that I know. We're going to get him on the show.
Nice, and I'm glad to be here right now.
Well, and then like it wasn't until the next week that Brad figured, like sometime in the next week, Brad figured out, like, wait a second, he was in like Spencer was in like 3 of those movies, and Brad hadn't even realized that he was in all of those movies.
Yeah, he was a convincing.
That's a huge compliment to me as an actor. I mean, I'm
You're very chameleon. You can very easily.
Chameleon.
Spanish one.
Flavorful.
Did you guys did you talk about your resume? Did I miss that part?
Well, no. So, before we move on, when are you guys going to start shooting for The Boy Who Stares, and when do you expect that to be out? Just so people who are listening know.
Well, we're filming in April 19th to the 22nd, which
cool.
is a very, very
short.
We've realized recently it's a very awkward time to film, but we couldn't avoid it. Like we kind of ran into that point where we had no choice. But we're filming then, and then we're trying to have an edit out by the end of May. And around the time that we're doing Boy Who Stares, our previous film Twombly, which screened at Stars Film Festival and a bunch of other places, just got picked up for a national 8-city roadshow tour.
Really?
Yeah. So we're going to be playing at the Laemmle, 2 of the Laemmle Playhouses in LA. One of the museums out here in Denver, and then New Orleans, Salt Lake City, and San Diego.
Very cool. So man.
We're actually playing in the Balboa Theater, which is where I saw Scott Pilgrim for the first time at Comic-Con. Me and my friend Matt Willix got tickets, and we got to wait in the long line and enjoy the San Diego sun for all it was worth. We were just like, do you want to read the end of Pilgrim? No, I want water. Give it to me now.
Cool. Yeah. So talk about how you guys got into it. When did you guys start? What was the thing that made you want to make films or be an actor or both?
I'll start.
Good.
In his diary. Dear diary, I'm on a podcast right now.
They didn't give me a mic. Zach is using the mic all the time.
So I don't forget stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know we're recording?
Yeah.
Oh, that's when they told me.
Nailed it.
All right.
I feel like I've been studying for this my entire life. From when I was very young, I always like how was that made? Then my folks are like, well, that's a movie, son. Like, that's all pretend. I'm like, no doubt.
You go to school for this shit.
I'm like, well, that's amazing. That's really cool. So I always tried to do that, and we had this giant camcorder, so I would like film things, and I'm like, that's very good. Now let's rewind and do it again. And then I kind of forgot all about it until I was about 21, and I met up with Alex Gray, who I went to high school with, and he was like, do you want to be in this student film that I'm doing? I was like, sure. And it ended up winning some awards and stuff, and that was the first time I saw myself on a big screen. I was like, dude, this is not the last time that I'm going to see this go on.
Yeah.
And I just felt it like way down in my wishbone, if you will.
That's cool.
Actually, interesting enough, Alex Gray did recently he did an adaptation of a Ray Bradbury short. It's called Jack in the Box. It's about a boy who he lives in his own kind of world that's been sheltered over by his mother. It's a wonderful 30-minute short film. It uses green screen effects. It's absolutely amazing. If you see it around festivals, check it out. Like it's absolutely, like, visually it's stunning.
Cool.
Absolutely. And Alex taught himself how to do that special effects, like, on the computer by himself, like the Maya program. Just taught himself.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Which is difficult to learn.
Yes.
I looked at the manual and I'm just like, I can read one word tonight. And then, let's save the rest for later.
Yeah. I have friends who like went to school for that, and
Yeah.
it's intensive.
Man,
for sure.
they have really nice universities out there to do it, and they charge you like a pretty decent amount. Like out in LA, they're based in editing schools. Like
Right.
there's more post houses out there than anything else out there anymore, which is really cool. I don't know, is it my turn? Or?
Yeah, Zach.
Yeah,
it's
it's
your
Zach.
turn.
You
us
know,
a
why
little
don't we
bit
give it
about
to
yourself.
Maddie, because I
All right, man. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Throwing me out of the orders. I wasn't ready.
chaos.
Let's see.
All right, Maddie, what's in the diary?
So-
What did you?
So I wrote down I just wanted to write down. I wrote down. I wanted to remember that I have to play a school shooter on the day that the Columbine shooting went on, and I did not realize that until just a second ago. And that was that's some intense stuff that I kind of want.
That is pretty hard.
I might go back and kind of read up on that because I don't want to.
Yeah.
When he said backting, that means it's a back acting. Like they're not going to see my face much in the film. It's
Right.
kind of like loom it, and I want to kind of get my hair I want to see how they kind of have their stuff, and kind of base that kind of creepiness off of like the guys who kind of do this stuff are. Like they do have mental challenges, but like that's kind of a creepy haircut. Why would you get that? Like,
Yeah.
that's what it comes.
Amongst other things.
Well, it was also 1999, and I was alive then, obviously.
And
it was a weird time. Things were different then.
And I lived over in Grand
The
Junction.
Matrix wasn't out yet.
Oh yeah, dude, that's
I'm just saying.
dark
Those were
times.
dark days.
It wasn't out. I thought it was.
Well, no, because it would have been out. That would have been April. It would have been out in the summer of that year, or at
'Cause
least
I
it would have
thought
been
it
around
was,
then.
and that's or something. That's why the trench coats were banned.
I'm pretty
from
sure
high
it came
school.
out in March of '99.
Oh, was it in March? Oh, okay. Never mind. Fuck me.
Quick, find it.
Yeah.
That was 1 month later, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or so.
Yeah.
It
So
was-
yeah.
From what I learned, they were watching like I had to do a lot of research for stuff,
Right.
and I read Dave Cullen's book Columbine, and he describes Natural Born Killers as being that one film that those guys watched more
Not
than
even-
anything else. So it's very like I have a hard time watching that film now.
I don't even
right
like
now
that
in
movie.
comparison to how it was like a few years ago, and I'm like, I love this movie.
yeah.
But so, anyway.
That's a rough movie. The only cool part about it was when that snake line's like, "What'd you expect? I'm a snake, bitch." That's like that's the best line in the whole movie.
Yeah.
But I just think that was a powerful coincidence that I didn't realize, and which would be pretty cool when you go to festivals and you can say that. You're like, it's kind of weird. We got mixed up in shooting, and we ended up realizing we shot some of the stuff on the actual Columbine shooting day in Colorado.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Right. That was not intentional.
Dude,
It was stressed about.
the people love that kind of stuff.
I don't mean to totally derail this, but were you guys all here then? Did you all grow up here?
I was living in Oregon at the time, actually.
Okay.
I grew up. I went to the Cherry Creek School District.
Yeah.
So it was around like the Greenwood Village area. So
Oh,
we were
okay.
close.
Yeah. Yep.
Like we got to pull out of school like when everything happened. Like we were like the TV was on and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I don't remember much about Columbine. Most of the stuff that I've been doing has been after the Aurora shooting.
Yeah.
Because me and my friends were there in Theater 8 when everything went down.
Oh, really?
So we kind of like we weren't like deeply affected by it, like because we got out safe. Like that's the best thing you can say about it.
Yeah.
But we I've started looking at it from that perspective, like how I felt that day or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's not a recovery exercise. It's more of just like how do I see this kind of story and whatnot.
Oh, for sure.
But like,
And I didn't mean to ask that like to put you guys on the spot. I simply wanted to know.
No. It challenges me. Thank you, David Frost.
Yeah.
I want a cheeseburger. That's my favorite part of that movie.
And for me, no, I was in Grand Junction, and I'm not sure how old I was at the time, but I remember everyone in my kind of family is a school teacher. Like my mom's a kindergarten teacher, my grandma was a teacher, and like I know it was kind of a big deal around the house, and they just wanted just the normal things that a parent would do and sit you down and tell you the situation, and then like express to you like if you see anything like this going on in school, make sure to let us know.
Yeah.
Type of, like they just handled it like I think
Everything just totally
every other parents have.
changes,
Yeah, just like this is a sad thing, but this stuff happens, but you got to just realize this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that was the first one on the list. Second one.
I just realized that we're gonna have to call this on a very special Real Nerds podcast. I know, talking about the reality of school shooting.
And I'm
Yeah, way to go, James.
sorry. I'm not gonna hold back here.
No,
I
this-
feel special.
my
This is
thing.
some raw emotion going into this.
You always feel special.
Some raw emotion.
That's true.
What else is in the
I've only written down
crying
two
journal?
things. Just the thing about the coincidence and that Real Nerds podcast. I got addicted to it because there's no reception at my work J Crew, and I get there early in the morning around 8 sometimes to vacuum. I got to vacuum out the dressing rooms and stuff. And I was listening to like Mark Maron's podcast. I love podcasts. Let's all shit done.
Dude, Mark Maron's great.
And I remembered Spencer had given me your card.
Yeah.
When I was hanging out with him one morning, and I had it in my pocket. And I went home and I subscribed to it and stuff. I downloaded it and put it on my iPod, and the reception went out at work, and I had nothing to listen to. And then I just started pounding through the Real Nerds podcast ones, and I found the one with Synergy in it finally too.
Oh yeah.
Very
Thanks
nice.
for the nice review.
Oh, thank
Thanks.
you. Or you're welcome.
And thanks for keeping me entertained while I vacuum or a bunch of milfy ladies take their pants off.
Oh, oh.
I just want you guys know you're there with me.
Okay, but how'd you get into
I know.
film?
So
Matt? That's
film
where
is
we.
the force.
Oh man.
How did you get it? How did you get into making movies, Matt? That's where we were.
Yeah. Rewind.
Let's get away from the
remix.
milfy ladies.
For just a little bit,
We're
please.
just they'll come back.
Oh, they have
They
to.
always come back.
I got started filmmaking when I was it was a coincidence because my family would show Jim Carrey movies. That was my favorite growing up. Was like Dumb and Dumber, but they always switched the channel or do something when like the really dirty parts were on. So I never saw them until way later. I was like, this is awesome. But like The Mask was like the most awesome movie as a little kid. And then
And only
Uh,
20 minutes long, which is
it's great.
just the perfect length.
Perfect. And then what's the other one? Oh, Ace Ventura was my favorite. I would get in so much trouble at school for talking with my butt.
Unbelievable.
That Ace Ventura was like, I was Ace Ventura for Halloween. Like Jim Carrey was my idol growing up, and I wanted to be an actor so bad. And I started making like Lego movies. I got the Lego Studio kind of set
Yeah.
up, but I never had Lego Studios. I wasn't rich enough to have that. As So I had my parents' VHS camera, and I just did do stop motion. Like growing up as a little kid, growing up would show them at the family things, and then from there, I went to Grand Junction High School, had a little film program, and I was doing stuff there, and then moved over to film school, and I've just been always doing it. There's
Very
nothing
cool.
else. I have no other marketable skills at this
No,
point.
dude, it's important to point out that Matt and I are both musicians as well. He plays drums.
Yeah, I started making movies because I was in a death metal hardcore band, and I wanted to make music videos. I was like, I got this one where we're all chasing after banana guys, like it's awesome. And then we're like dun dun in the breakdown, and we're like throwing the banana, and like I really wanted to make music videos for my band to get noticed because like they're like
I want to see a music video where you're chasing down a banana.
Did you ever
we
film
made
it?
a music video where we're it's our really horrible small town band called Red, White, and Brutal, and we were a hardcore band,
Of course it is. Yeah, of course it is.
and
Hardcore.
and we had this thing where we were all pantomiming playing, and at the big old breakdown, the guitar player did like a guitar swing, and he had like the guitar came around, he caught it, started playing it again, and it was like a real guitar in his arm, and then like I threw the drumsticks up, and I came down, there was the drums there, and I was like going at it, and then the bass player threw his bass and it came around. But the first time he did it, like threw it, it came off, and I have this footage of like, like him grabs like, I can't believe I did that. Like bass just fell on the ground, and it's a risk you take. You gotta take bold risks
You
making
do.
film.
I
and
feel
that-
like when you can't actually play your instruments, you resort to cheap tricks
Some
like throwing it
dances.
around instead of shredding a sweet
no,
solo. You'd
I
be like, "Oh, I'll throw
disagree.
it
It's
around."
about stage presence.
yeah.
I feel like the presence would be with the shred.
I was
Hey, did the monkeys play their own instruments?
That's
No,
right. That is
No,
very
but they
true.
were.
I would stand on my drum stool, like my band would jump around. We had little lights. Like it's all about.
But you
stage
can
presence.
play your drums and you rock hard, so that's different.
What he's saying is you're really talented. Why are you fucking around throwing the sticks in the air?
Why am I throwing sticks and making movies?
Well, it's precisely okay if you can actually do your job on stage. And be like, oh, yeah, great. Yeah.
Yeah, I started making movies at film school, and like even way before that. But the film school bug kind of just as soon as you see your first thing, like the first show. Also, I saw
Yeah.
my first movie on a big screen up there, and I was like, wow. And then,
Dude,
ever
it's-
since
it's an
then,
incredible
you're just like,
feeling.
You're like, I got to show my films to everybody on the biggest screen possible.
That's cool.
We met on a set called Mental House.
Yeah, it was like 2010,
Yeah.
and we were on this film. It was supposed to be shot on 16 millimeter, but they didn't shoot on 16 millimeter. They cheated.
They used like a T2i. I was like 16
No,
millimeter.
it was like it was before T2i times. We went to film school before.
It was
you-
David Quakenbush.
You had
that
to
thing.
put the tape in the camera, and you had to use a Tascam and a whole bunch of other crazy stuff before you have this digital hard drives nonsense that's beautiful and really
shut
really
shut
nice.
up, Quentin
I-
Tarantino.
I-
let
No, no.
Zach talk about when he became. No, I'm just
Let me
kidding.
be honest. I'm a digital filmmaker. I
Yeah.
I'll probably never make a film on film.
Yeah.
I'll make everything on digital probably.
Well, especially because of the when you don't have the kind of money that somebody like Quentin Tarantino has, where you can
Exactly.
get film, like digital is just the way to go anymore.
I think you know what, I've had this like discussion with multiple people, and the best way that I can describe it is I don't care, because like it's ultimately up to them what they want to do, and you can't like and they're gonna say what they want to say. Like personally, I agree with Tarantino. Like part of the reason I got into what I want to do is because of film, and I feel like a hypocrite because I use digital because that's all I have really access to right now. Like,
Right.
we don't have the money for film. It takes a lot of money to process it and whatnot. But you know, like I like that he's building that up because. I work in movie theaters. I worked at movie theaters for a while, and the one thing that I noticed is that when digital came in, there were more problems with the digital projector than there were with a 35 millimeter projector. And
Really?
there's more. It's a hard drive system. It's a computer, so it crashes easily. Nobody's being trained on how to use the computer. They're just being trained how to press play. So it's a little tricky, but like I think that there's there's a balance to it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
Well, there's always trial and error with new technology. If you know, as
Yeah.
a film pro, when the hard drive on the old film things were messing up, the theater burnt down. We don't have that problem with digital.
This is true.
that
Yeah,
was
that's
the
right.
alternate version of Cinema Paradiso, wasn't it? Just
And
the
it allows
theater
us to
burned
make-
and all the Italian children.
It allows us to make a film in 3 hours driving around in a
Yeah,
car.
like the Getaway. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just
I
the
mean-
ability to watch your stuff right away and correct the errors and kind of go on the fly is, I think, a pretty powerful tool that if you're a stickler. But like Quentin Tarantino, when he's shooting, he's got his film camera, but he's got it with a he has a little tent that he's in and he's watching it as he sees it. Like the real filmmakers, like the ones who have to measure to see if their focus is right and to check everything and do some math. Like he hired like 1,000 guys to do that. He just likes probably the film because it's film and he can talk about it and argue
Right.
about it. And he
Yeah.
does things with his arms when he says it. And, and if he's sending it to black people, he goes a little bit like this. I don't know what.
Oh, that might be harsh, but it's true. Yeah. Right.
He's a chameleon.
Yeah.
He is. He's weird. But he's a
I'm a
beautiful
chameleon.
filmmaker.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Tying it back to one. Good callback, Spencer.
Yeah.
So no, really, Zach, how'd you get into movies?
I was in the audience for Red, White, and Brutal one night, and I said to myself, I want to be just like that fumbling kid with the glasses.
Did you see the way he threw the sticks in the air? He's a great filmmaker.
That man is going to go places. He's going to win 10 Oscars.
Contacts in high school, and I only had one eye because the hair would cover the other one.
Okay, film nerd moment, and that is something that my friend Robin will really love. Is I started off with film the same way most of us did, Star Wars. But I saw the original version on VHS, and I'm just like, oh my god, they can do things like that on a screen,
Yeah.
like in that little box. And another film, and this is the like embarrassment confession, is Titanic. Titanic was visually, forget the love story, forget Billy Zane and whatever wacky things he was doing in the movie.
Zane.
Billy Zane. Oh
Billy.
my gosh. There was a month when it was Titanic being re-released, Scorpion King 3 being released, and like some
Phantom.
other independent
And
film.
the
I'm just like,
Phantom.
this is Billy Zane's Mickey Rourke year. He's gonna come back, and I'm gonna grab him on the ground floor up and going, Billy, I've got a great movie for you. You play the biggest asshole ever. And I know what you're thinking. Well, what's different from this time? Well, you wear a funny hat.
You're acting too Billy Zaney.
It's kind of cool because Zeesman and I have the same relation to, like, my relation to hardcore death metal is his relation to Titanic, because we both vividly remember the first time we saw tits.
I have
Also,
never
it's
seen
loud
this while I was
action.
playing
I
in the
was
show.
6 years old, and they stuck in my mind for years. And then when I saw The Reader, all my dreams kind of died.
Or Revolutionary
I'm just
Road.
like, oh god, age does not do those well. I love Kate Winslet though; she's really talented. But as I got to protect myself.
Yeah.
Because how do I know I don't want to cast her in something? Yeah.
She is.
Oh yeah.
Kate, can you hear me? I love you,
She
Kate.
writes in every week. Yeah.
I love you, Rose. So no, but I watched Star Wars and all that stuff. But when I was 10 years old, I was in California in the mountains, and but we had driven out from the mountains to go to the beach area down near where Legoland is. And we were in this like little condo apartment, and I was essentially supposed to play by myself while my grandparents talked to their friends, and they had a bunch of movies on their shelf, and one of them was Casablanca. I pulled it out of the shelf, and before I watched the entire film, I watched the special features and just got really into it. And then the movie played. I watched the entire film, and I'm just like, I want to make a movie like that. I want to make. Like, as a kid, I couldn't really relate to the love story, but I was watching this movie that says, this is a really badass action film where Humphrey Bogart kills Nazis. I want to watch this kind of movie all the time. So I started kind of going from there, and then the final peg in the machine. I used that analogy wrong.
It's a cog.
Yeah.
Cog in the wheel is I watched Clerks 2, and that's a really weird like thing to say, but I loved the way he wrote that movie because it really taught me that you can write something extremely personal and still find a way to be original about it.
Yeah.
And then about a year later, after watching Clerks 2 in the theater, I got to work with Dave Klein, Kevin Smith's DP, on a feature. I was 16 years old. I got to work on it with him in here and a bunch of other people on his team, so that was fun. So like kind of growing up with that, so Clerks 2 holds a very special place in my heart for that reason alone.
No, I'm fucking sorry. And Brad's going to hate how long this episode is. I don't care. You can't say that was cool. Tell us about Dave Klein. How did you work with Dave Klein?
I can't really talk about it too much, but I will say that because you don't like. I will say this. He taught me a lot about how to be professional on a set. He taught me a lot about how you have to show up with the utmost like respect for everybody around you. And I was 16 years old, and I was a kid who could shoot off my mouth. I wasn't like big on anything. Like I couldn't proclaim to be any bigger than like a little speck of dust. So I tried my best every day to show up and be the same professional that he was. But the biggest thing that I got out of it was what's funny is that we ended up working on this film, and then about a month later I found out that one of the actresses on that set was on Benjamin Button and The Master. Her name's Madison Beatty, and she was young Daisy and whatnot. So we were working with a bunch of people that we had no idea where they were going to go. So it kind of it really teaches you to like never underestimate anybody. Like I was 16, I'm just like I only think of big names, but this taught me that everybody has everything to do with this business, and you never know who's going to go up. So like, and as a kid, that was the best lesson I ever learned, which is never underestimate anybody around you, and always try to like combine with their talents and create something really like great. Like that's why I work with Maddie and Spencer all the time. Like I produce Synergy for Maddie solely because that's the kind of movie I wish I could make. So like I kind of take advantage of that stuff, and Dave taught me a lot of that. So it was a fun experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, it's been a good show, guys.
That's what wraps it up for Real Nerds.
Oh.
Tune in next week when Brad gets a mole removed.
Tune in next week when they talk about Brad Woodestone.
Yeah. Oh, well, thanks for coming, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming to our show. And can you tell us where we can find you guys online, or where we can see trailers for you guys? Tell us about how we can promote you.
We're on. I'm sorry, Twombly. Right, we are currently working on a website for Take 38 Productions. But on Facebook, you can find a link to our short film Twombly. It's not online yet, but because of the roadshow tour, we may be putting it up online as a promotional thing. So check it out for that. It's facebook.com/Twombly. For The Boy Who Stares, we're actually in our last couple of stages of financing. So if you have $1 that you want to donate to help us make our film, you can go to indiegogo.com/theboywhostares. And you can, even if you don't have money to spread, you can spread the word about our film and whatnot and help us get it out there.
For sure.
And so, yeah. And then Maddie, do you have anything?
Yes, I do, Zach. Thank you. You can find me at Matt R. O'Connor. See that? Not only my Twitter handle makes the dogs howl. Then you can go to, you find links to my Vimeo from there, and I got like all my trailers for like 5 Steps, the film we're about ready to release in May. Then we're gonna go to funnyordie.com, and then I also have a Matty O'Connor there. And pretty soon, MattyO'Connor.com will be live. You can just
What's
go
funnyordie.com?
funnyordie.com.
It's a stupid little website they put up months ago. I wouldn't pay much attention to it, Ryan.
It's going to be gone in a few days.
just a hoster. You just put things on there.
Yeah.
A host.
It's like YouTube.
Yeah.
There's just tons of shit
It's
and
like,
nothing good.
It's like YouTube for comedy nerds.
comedy stuff. But yeah,
He's been on the front page 2 times,
Very cool.
Oh man, very nice.
which
of
is
them.
hardcore, I think.
No, that is really cool.
That was like so. I was so jealous when I found that.
and Mayhem Miller and TJ. A lot of Millers like me for some reason. What's going on? And then
Maddie, I really like your podcast.
yeah, you can go check out good. It's called Good Cop, Good Cop. And I shot it with the local comedian group, the Grolics, and we were filming 5 steps, and they played 2 cops, and we just was getting in this moment of being good cop, so we went over and just shot it, and it was a pretty good time.
I'm talking
Very
about
cool.
those guys were so funny that I was just like, I'm not funny. I don't say anything. I don't. You guys.
They had we shot a movie with Spencer, and they had there were 2 cops interrogating Spencer as well in our film, and they just were just out of control good, like the way they performed, and just they're such a tight knit group they could just pop around so easily.
They read each other extremely well, man. Exactly. And when I made them laugh, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so good. That's awesome.
Then that thing flew on a Funny or Die homepage, and then now I'm doing a whole bunch of shorts with different comedians. So if you keep in tack with that Funny or Die homepage, and also my Twitter, I'll let you know when the website goes live. But there's gonna be a bunch of shorts with just like little sketches with local different comedians that you can find out when those guys are performing shows at like the Voodoo or Comedy Works or anything like that. There's there's a place called the Deer Pile, which is an awesome place above City City that does comedy shows, and like the community needs to make these guys movies. Like if you're a filmmaker, go to these comedy shows, meet these comedians because they have ideas and they're good actors. So
Absolutely.
use them. Yeah, I kind of like did stand up for a while and I still do it, but I got to meet all of them, and they're just really, really quick and really good at remembering stuff. And I don't know if you need actors, hit up local comedy like open mics like Monday Night's Lions Lair. Just go to the open mics, and like this week's edition, the Rooster has all the open mics. You can go to 5280comedy.com and click open mics, and it's got all the lists. Go there. If you see a performer you like, it might be good in one of your films. Like just go talk to the guys. They're really awesome, and they're down to get seen, and like they need stuff for their reels to make films anyway. So it's just you're having an awesome performance, and they're getting stuff out of their reel. So it's like a sweet little thing that we're trying to get going here in Denver, and we're also going to shoot a feature this summer here, and just use Denver as much as we can as a filmmaking hub, and try to just blow it up. So just stay following us, and then it'll be a good time.
Yeah, and we're working on a couple different features. I know Maddie's working on one. I'm working on mine, which I'm going to film right after The Boy Who Stares. It's called Walt Met a Girl, and it's it's what I call a very, very sarcastic look at romantic relationships set in the time of pot dealing in 1995. So
A lot's changed in the 18
Yeah.
years.
It was illegal in
originally-
Colorado then.
Well, originally the idea came out of the idea like when I was when the election happened, I got stoned that night. And I was just waiting. I wasn't waiting on the presidential results. I'm just like, come on, weed. Come on. Don't make me feel guilty tonight. But also, you can check us out on Twitter, too. Maddie's at Matt R. O'Connor, and I'm at Zach E. Take 38. ZACHE Take 38.
Can you change your Twitter thing after you've already locked it in stone?
Because not if you locked it in stone.
I want to make it Matty O'Connor, but I already sent in my blood. I don't know what to do. We might talk after this because I don't know what the hell I'm doing on Twitter. I just know how to post little jokes.
I don't even have a Twitter. I can barely operate a Facebook, man. I'm pretty sure.
But anyway, we've taken up a lot of time, and if I know the show correctly, this is about the time where we start getting into what we've seen lately.
First, we're going to do mail because we skipped mail.
That's
Yeah,
right,
we
there we
skipped
go.
mail.
But nicely done.
But
first
nicely
mail.
done. See, that's people who really listen to my show. I'm so touched. I'm so touched.
This
right.
is when Brad and James start turning on him, going, "What do you mean your show?"
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think what he's saying is, hey Ryan, let's start the show.
Yeah, if you've never listened to Real Nerds podcast, welcome.
You made it through quite a bit there.
Yeah, we got.
For those of you just tuning in,
Quick, that was a lot faster than I thought it was going to be.
No, that
We
was
have not started yet.
no. So
Nice.
remember, every week we go and see a new movie. This week we went and saw the incredible Burt Wonderstone. So stay
we
tuned for that spoilerific review. You can reach us you can reach us lots of ways at real_nerd. You can email us directly, realnerds@gmail.com. Call us 720-6nerds5. So many things you can do. Leave us a comment on our webpage, realnerdspodcast.com. So now with that, dig into the bag, pull out the fan mail electronically.
Fan mail. We didn't get any snail mail this week.
No, we
We've
didn't
had a
get
lot
any
of snail
snail
mail
mail this
lately,
week.
That
so-
Pony Express ain't working lately.
No,
I
you know
know.
it works. It only ran for like 3 years,
Do you
know,
feel
what
like
are you
so
gonna do?
special when you get
Lazy
something
ponies?
in the mail? Like,
Yeah.
no, nice. Someone took the time.
and then it's a bill.
If you listen to the show, you know we have a couple fans, and Cora has sent us an email.
Cora's back.
Cora's back,
I love Cora.
right?
Yeah, we made fans of Cora, our fan.
When
That's
you
right.
did the episode of the Valentine's Day episode, she was like so funny. She just starts going into her like personal life, and I was just like, "Oh my god, this is so funny." She's like
Yeah.
just spot on. She's just like, "I don't give a fuck."
Yeah, she's great.
This is good news for her because she's in line to be like our female host. Like she threw her hat in the ring.
Too late.
If she is
too late.
Make her your Veronica Corningstone.
So she's our Veronica Corningstone.
I did find out that I don't read her emails in her correct, like, I guess, I don't know.
Cantor.
It can, thank you.
Most of which is just fast,
Yes.
like a constant.
But anyways, Cora says, "Hey guys, I'm currently watching Alias Season 1. Awesome.
Oh fuck yeah!
And making chicken for tacos with Birdman's barbecue smoke and dry rub.
Which we
Yes!
gave to her.
Yes!
Oh man,
It's
that's
making my
awesome.
apartment smell amazing, by the way.
Oh good. It tastes good too.
It does. It's awesome.
Wait for the commercial.
Totally. So I've been catching up on a lot of shows. Downton Abbey finally finished Season 3, and I had spoiled the end for myself. Damn you, Internet!
Oh, that's too bad.
It's all
It's too bad
capital
she wasn't here. I would
rules.
like to talk
Yeah.
to her about that,
But it was interesting to see how they followed through with it, and I'm intrigued to see how Season 4 goes. Does someone get knighted? I don't know.
somebody gets dead.
I know I've never seen it, and so I just play on like British tropes. I mean, that's what I
Yeah.
do.
No.
It's Downton Abbey is all about the queens.
Totally. Walking Dead, OMG. So excited to see how all of the drama with the governor goes down. Spoiler! Andrea should have killed him when she had the chance. But I'm
Duh.
so glad Daryl is back, and
God,
after
ruined
Rick's
him.
encounter with Morgan, he seems to have snapped out of his Rick rage stage. Yeah, the episode with Morgan was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the best moments of that show.
She goes on to say that The Americans could possibly be my new favorite drama.
fuck, I
I'm
gotta
not
catch
sure
up on
yet, but it sure is fun to watch.
Is
James, have you kept it up with it?
No, I've March is a bad month for me.
Is that the one where they're Russian KGB agents?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the 80s.
Oh gosh.
And here's the thing. The first episode, it's got a little bit of like, really, we're still talking about the Russians. But it is pretty dang good. Like it's well made.
I really had no problem with the premise. I'm just like, I don't want to watch another spy show anymore.
Yeah.
But it looked like really well shot. So.
Yeah. And I just haven't kept up on it because video games, man.
Absolutely.
So it went on to say your thoughts, but you just shared your thoughts. That you
Yeah,
haven't
my
kept
thoughts
up
are
with it.
I'm gonna finish that shit. Like, that's one of the shows that I need to catch up on. Even more than the
Surprisingly,
following.
she's also watched My Little Ponies: Friendship is Magic.
No, she didn't. ...
So good.
Is that or she's a brony or a Sony? Like I don't know, like what you call a sister brony or whatever.
I don't.
Our friend, we have a friend named Brett Jones, and he's a brony, and it's like people who are obsessed with My Little Pony.
Wait,
because it's
that's
like,
a real
Really?
thing?
Yeah.
Are
it's
you?
a
I
real-
thought
Is this
you were
like a
making something
furry?
up.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
No, I believe
they're
that's
fans
absurd.
of My Little Pony, but the way my friend described it is like Brett sounds like this. He's like, we really appreciate the writing and everything that it stands for within the My Little Pony universe.
Oh, so they're not watching it ironically. They're not like hipsters.
Kind of.
They're looking at it ironically, but they're appreciating the ironic quality of it. And they they wear shirts and everything. There's conventions. It's an insane phenomenon.
They do wear girl shirts, but the thing is that they it's I guess kind of silly and do you guys ever watch Flapjack or anything like those
No.
kind of Cartoon Network?
Yeah.
Later cartoon shows
Oh,
are like
yeah.
made for like the super ADD kids who
Yeah.
like grown on
like
iPhones.
Ed and Eddie.
So this is one that's like overly girlied and kind of like almost over sassy and super funny to quote. That's why I think that's the appeal that
Like-
these guys have with it.
Like an Adventure Time for girls.
Yeah, it's like Adventure Time for girls, but like the guys thinks it's even funnier because it's like just a bunch of dumb girl ponies walking. I don't know. I've never seen it, but I have friends who like it, and that's the kind of.
I'm
Now-
super
now
bummed.
I-
You guys seem to know an awful lot about My Little Pony.
No doubt. And it's freaking me out because I'm sitting right next to you
I
guys.
know,
Come on.
right? They're gonna
Ryan,
whip out-
Ryan and I have a confession to make.
I knew it.
The sad thing is, Z-Spin and I have a weird knowledge like database of just information, like everything that's not school.
We're like better looking Rain Men. Like I don't know.
I don't know. I'm pretty attracted to
Oh
Dustin
God,
Hoffman.
I don't know. Like I'm just saying. Like I might be able to give Dustin a run for his money.
Of course, technically Dustin Hoffman's
But
not the Rain Man.
only from Last Chance Harvey. I can't beat him in Marathon Men. That's when he looked his best.
right,
yeah,
what
it's a
Corsair?
cartoon and a ridiculous one at that, but it's a great way to start or end my day. There's definitely a feeling of Powerpuff Girls and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, two of my favorites. They're all three have the same creator. I thought My Little Ponies was old.
They pump those things out like
It's a
like-
reboot.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a reboot. They canceled Star Wars and threw ponies on
It's
it.
a darker.
It's like Final Fantasy games, man. There's just a computer somewhere that drops one every month.
To
Like,
answer his question about what's the girl version of bronies, it's the normal demographic.
It's just regular My Little Pony fans.
It's like what it's supposed to be.
Other than that, everything has been on hiatus for a while, so I can't gush about The Office or Parks and Rec at this point.
Yeah.
Also, I went and saw that's a long email. Also, I went and saw Oz the Great and Powerful. I'm currently listening to last week's show, but I haven't gotten to the review yet. I didn't think it was super awesome. My reasonable expectations were at a 10. My unreasonable
what?
expectations were at 10. I reasonably expected an 8, and I'd say it hit a 7. The love triangle wasn't super believable. I like James Franco and Rachel Weisz. Their characters were easier to connect with than Mila Kunis and Michelle Williams's. But damn, this was a movie pretty. I actually invested in the 3D for my 2-hour commitment.
Oh, wow.
And I don't regret it. Yes, they used a few I'm going to throw spears in your face gimmicks, but even those were executed very well. Yeah,
it's Sam Raimi, man. Come on.
There we go.
I
Wow.
don't know. Like I disagree. I thought Mila handled herself very well. Like,
I think so, too.
But I just think that she should have been introduced as the Green Wicked Witch of the West way later in the film. Like it would have been a lot more impactful for me as an audience member. They gave it to us too fast. It's like you're getting a hand job and you're really really nervous, and then all of a sudden it just goes. Oh God, I don't get the other minute, do I?
Yes, they use. Wait, where am I at?
All
Plus,
right,
the black and white
awkward.
opening use of 3D was super cool. I appreciated how they structured the story for the prequel with the origin of Oz the Con Man.
Yeah.
The only super downside was that I wanted to see the shoes. Too bad they were owned by Warner Brothers.
Yep.
Yeah, I was reading an interview with Raimi, and he said there was a lawyer on set every day to make sure they didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
They let every
company
other element go
stooge.
but the shoes.
I know, right?
Look, man, these shoes are very, very valuable. We can't just give them to anybody, especially the director of Evil Dead. We
Well-
don't know what he's
well,
going to do to those shoes.
Because technically none of the characters from that movie, like there is a lion, and it's cowardly,
Yeah,
but
it's-
none of the characters are in that movie.
Because he scares away, he's like, and he just goes away.
Well, except for the witch, actually. That's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mia Kunis's character is the same.
Well,
So-
and the Tinkerer, Bill Cobbs, the character that Bill Cobbs plays in the movie, the Tinkerer, he is the creator of the Tin Man, apparently. According
really?
to, like...
Oh, yes. Yeah,
if
yeah.
you look in, like, Oz mythology or something like that, it's
Yeah.
really strange.
I have heard that.
Yeah, it's because the books are public domain, but the
Right.
Warner Brothers movie is not, so they have
Right.
to find a way to incorporate everything without
Yeah.
that stuff.
Can't believe MGM ever let that go from their sites like that. It's like,
Right.
how do you lose that property?
Did anyone else catch the Kansas version of Michelle Williams? I forget her name, but
Oh,
the
it's
one who
Dorothy's
is
mother.
engaged to Bob Gale, or not
Exactly.
Bob Gale, or something like that, who is Dorothy Gale's father.
Yeah.
so you did catch it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't.
That's why
I
I
didn't. I didn't catch it. Brad leans over to me in the movie and goes like, "That's Dorothy's mom," and I was like, "Oh, fuck you!"
The one who abandons her? Yeah.
Yeah.
She goes on to say, so maybe something like that will come up in the sequel that is already rumored and will be made.
Yeah.
By the end, it was good, and I would probably get it on DVD or something. Or something as VOD.
Imagination.
But I wouldn't expect to. But I wouldn't go see it again. I'm excited to hear y'all's review. Last thing, the new website is awesome.
Thank you.
Brad. Woo!
Nice.
I need to go peruse some of the articles and leave some comments. Getting ready for Denver Comic Con, Cora.
Yeah, you do.
Thanks, Cora. Your emails are always awesome. And then she did a follow-up email. She says another quick note, but it's like 2 paragraphs. She says about the Boys review. Yes, everything you said about the Boys is accurate. When I read them, I had more than just the first trade, so it wasn't difficult to get further into the story with a lot of time, without a lot of time dedication. The shock value of some of the sex and violence serves its purpose later, but the first trade is a bit much. There is quite a bit of build-up to how terrible the characters are, and it takes a whole series to even get this backstory that validate the terrible acts of heroes as well.
I'm glad you said that because I'm going to talk about that later.
I get the comment about the art. I'm used to cleaner artwork as well. I should know by now to expect you all do not... I can't even read. I should know by now to expect you all to not like the stuff that I recommend.
Aww.
Just kidding. This is what I love about your show, honest sharing.
I like
Cora.
you, Cora.
Yeah, we love you, Cora.
Cora, your taste is what guides my life now.
Yes, and your name
Did
reminds
you not
me of
hear
Avatar.
the first couple of minutes of this podcast?
But Frank and Weenie, come on. And then Dan from Ohio sent us feedback on Oz 2. He says, greeting. I was pleasantly surprised to hear Scanners, the hunting, discussed on your last podcast.
Oh my God, we have to see this movie now.
We have to see it
Why
now.
is everyone talking about Scanners the Hunting?
Scanners the Hunting?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you guys know anything about Scanners the Hunting?
I know about a movie called Scanners, but is it
Nope.
related to that?
No.
No, what is this?
I don't know, but all of our fans keep writing in and telling us
This is
about
why I go to
Scanners the
James
Hunting.
for my movie reviews. I don't know what this is about.
I don't know. It's probably shit. I'm gonna watch it.
And he says, I'm a relatively new fan of Philip K. Dick. It's a Philip K. Dick story.
What
I guess.
Ooh.
And I was unaware of Screamers series until recently. However, Screamers, based on the short story Second Variety,
Yeah.
has become one of my favorite Philip K. Dick adapted films. And a sequel, The Hunting, is pretty decent for a straight-to-DVD sci-fi movie.
Huh.
As for Oz the Great and Powerful, I must say that I was too impressed with how good it was. Though I'll admit I often like new interpretations of Frank Baum's work, such as Wicked and Tin Man. Wicked's really good. What I found especially enjoyable were Raimi's homages to the original Wizard of Oz, which were apparently not only to the story, but also in the style of filmmaking. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first 20 minutes of that film is incredible.
He's a
looking.
great filmmaker.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I was also taken with how engrossing the film was, to the point where I was surprised by some of the twists and reveals that should have been obvious.
Yeah.
While some of the acting was weak, Oz the Great and Powerful delivered the fun and adventurous film I was looking for. Regards, Dan. I agree.
Wait, that was Dan?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So yeah, that's our mail for the week, guys.
Very nice.
Thank you everybody for writing in. Remember, if you leave a comment at the bottom of my The Perfect House review, I've given away 2 copies of The Perfect House. I have 4 more to give away. Leave a comment. You could win a copy of The Perfect House.
Now, if we're a guest and I leave a comment,
You can take one home with you, sir.
yes.
All right, so there are now
Been hearing
3.
about
There
this
is
on the
now
podcast for
3
the past
copies
3 weeks. I
of
heard
The
that for the
Perfect
past 3
House.
weeks, and I'm just like, oh my god, I gotta get one right now.
Cool.
It takes me
We'll
forever.
send you home with one.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll just pretend like you left a comment, or leave a comment anyway. It's good for
I
us.
just feel like
It's
leave
part
a
of the
com-
contest.
I just feel like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like
yeah, you're
Ryan's abs hat.
Thank you. Done. So thank you to everybody who wrote in.
Absolutely.
And now it's the time of the show where we discuss the films we've watched this week.
So, yeah, this is the stuff we've been watching.
I watched shitloads.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. Right?
Yeah.
What's that supposed to mean, James?
Nothing.
You're
It doesn't
like,
mean anything.
Because we all know you're
no,
poor.
no, no. It's
Of course
out
you
of
did.
it is out of shame and disappointment in myself that I only saw one thing
you-
this week.
You asshole.
I'm sorry.
Was it what we saw tonight?
No.
Oh.
Oh, all right, fine, 2, but that doesn't count.
So, if you're a listener to the podcast, you know my goal is to watch every Robert Downey Jr. movie. And I'm still waiting for one that's so terrible that I'll never watch it again. Guess what, guys? I found one.
Oh wow.
It's called Love and Distrust, and I don't know if you guys have seen this.
When's it from?
Yes.
It's it made $10,000 in the theaters.
Okay, good for it.
And it's shorts that have been shot over the course of time, but have been collected in 2010 and put in one movie.
What?
Yeah, it's stupid. And I'll tell you why.
So they just like went and dug up every time
Yeah.
capsule with a film in it and
Pretty
taped
much
them all together.
because they have the
It's bizarre.
there's like 5 films in it. The first one is with Robert Pattinson and some dumb
Oh,
bitch.
fuck this.
And
Oh, you mean Twilight?
no, it takes. what sucks is it takes place in England around the moon landing, and everyone's excited to see the moon landing.
Yeah, that
And
sounds. I'm totally in right now.
You're in, right?
Yeah.
That's when they were really regretting letting America go.
Yeah, yeah. Like
So
the
I'm
moment
like,
you
oh,
say
this
moon
is-
landing, I'm
So
there.
this is so cool, and then this girl comes back home, and she has letters from her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend Robert Pattinson, and he shows up at her house during the moon landing, and it ends with her saying, "This isn't gonna work," and she walks out. That's the end of the short. It's fucking
What's it got to
horrible.
do with the moon landing?
Absolutely nothing, James.
He was like, and I missed the moon landing.
Yeah,
you don't,
exactly.
You don't
Guys,
get it, man. The moon was her leaving. That was the moon setting on the other side.
You don't understand. I was supposed to be on that ship. I was going to the moon.
I was an astronaut and I stayed here for you, and now you broke up with me.
That
It's
is
horrible.
so
That is a
weak.
Yeah.
bitch move.
The second one has Sam Worthington as
Okay.
playing an Australian, so you don't have to worry about his accent
Oh,
in the
good.
way.
Good.
And it's not too bad. He picks up this hippie girl, and it takes place in the 60s, and He tells it's forgettable.
What you don't know is the twist when they take a hallucinogenic drug and they turn into blue cats.
Yes, that's why it's the best one of it. The third one stars James Franco, and he's on a train, and this girl finds his phone, and she's a hooker, and she kills herself, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm so sad that she killed herself after she found my phone." That's how it ends.
He didn't really look like he was given much in there.
No,
He's almost just like, what am I doing here?
it seems like it
I
seems
feel
like
bad
he
for
was
Franco
he was
in that
still
moment.
in like at UCLA, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh fuck, I guess I'll be in
He
this movie."
still is at UCLA.
Yeah.
That man is like 127 hours was all the proof I needed to know that this man is going to be great someday. Like he's just, and he's actually, I think he's doing it right now, but like he's just incredible.
Yeah, I don't mind him.
Oh God, Rise of the Planet of the Apes was incredible.
Do you think he has his own dorm room still?
Probably.
Yeah, I hope he does. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is the first thing I'm gonna do is enroll in college
Well,
and just
because
get a dorm room.
one of his clones still lives there. Because clones are the only way that man does as much as he does. There's no way that one person can write short stories and still be on like fucking what's the General Hospital. Yeah,
Whatever he
he's still
does.
on General Hospital.
No.
Yeah,
And
he's
doing
still
a
there.
good job.
But he doesn't have a day job like we do.
It's right.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, you're right.
And then the last one is called Automotives, which has Robert Downey Jr. in it.
Okay,
which
here we go.
His
Here we
part
go.
is really funny, but the rest of it has Jim Rash from Community. It has lots of famous people.
Oh my
It's
God, have you? I hate to derail, but I have to ask: have you been watching Community lately?
Yes. I didn't see this
I
week's.
like where it's going, despite what some people say. Like, I have a lot of friends who are fans. I like where it's going because it's trying to wrap it up. Like, it seems like it's
Yeah.
trying to wrap it up. But Jim Rash in the season opener when he did the Hunger Games thing,
Yeah.
and he just starts dancing with Jeff, and they're just doing that dance. That was one of the funniest television moments
yeah.
I saw this year.
best friends.
Yeah, it's
Best
great.
friends.
But the best part of it is I always say this, but it's seriously Robert Downey Jr.'s part. He's in it for like 2 minutes, and it cuts to him, and he's with a friend, and they're like drinking vodka in a convertible,
Right.
and this Hummer's coming down the driveway, and Robert Downey Jr.'s like, "Holy shit, here he comes!" And he throws the vodka bottle out, and he gets out, and it's James Cameron, and he's like, "Hey James, can I be in your new movie?" Because this is right when he got out of prison, and he doesn't have a
wow.
job, so he's like, "Can I please be in your movie?" And he says, "You're doing Spider-Man, right? I can play the Goblin." And James like, "You know what? You're wearing my shirt. Get my fucking shirt off of you." He's like, "Okay, here you go." And then James Cameron drives away, and then another car comes down the driveway, and Robert Downey Jr. and his friends are like, "Oh fuck, the door's open. Let's go!" And they run up his driveway and they jump in his office and start answering his phone and shit. He's only in it for like 3 minutes, but it's a little funny bit. But the movie is fucking horrible. The DVD art has like 2 people that are hugging that aren't in the movie. And it's
I looked at that and I'm like, why am I what?
yeah. And
It was like looking at the image for the Room poster and you're just like, this is not in the movie. Like
Yeah.
just this like it's like his headshot. That's all it is. It's
Yeah.
Tommy's headshot going like, oh, that looked fabulous.
it's horrible. I also saw a movie with him called Black and White,
Okay.
which is like a hip hop rapping movie that has
What?
The hippity
Does-
hop music.
Wait. Does Robert Downey Jr. hippity hop rap in this movie?
No, but it has a lot of people in it that you'd recognize. It's Ben Stiller's in it. It seems like it's an independent film that everyone shot for a couple days and
Yeah.
then they
Like they did it
cut
as
it
a favor
together.
or something?
Yeah, exactly, because the director of it actually directed Downey Jr. in The Pickup Artist and 2 Girls and a Guy. So the movie's okay. Mike Tyson is really good in it. Right? Yeah.
Was he boxing?
Oh God.
No, he wasn't. He was telling this kid that it's really stupid. This kid's trying to be a rap star, but it's dumb. Elijah Wood's in it.
Him in the Hangover Part 2 was like the weirdest, like out of nowhere thing ever.
Yeah.
Like I know he's part of that universe, but I'm just like, why are you here?
Nowhere near as good as his appearance recently on How I Met Your Mother.
Oh God, that was fun.
That was good.
But Robert Downey Jr. plays Brooke Shields' husband, who's a closet homosexual.
Shields.
Not Brooke Shields, Robert Downey Jr.
Right.
So he has some little funny bits, and he's only in it for a little bit, and then he breaks up with his wife, and he's like, "I'm a cum guzzler," and he throws his hands up and runs into the hotel. And that's the end of Robert Downey Jr. in that movie.
Because he dies from being a cum guzzler?
No, he just he throws his arms in the air
That's
and
a
he's
serious
done.
disease.
Oh, okay.
James.
Like that's when he's not dead. Oh, okay.
And he's
You
he's
can't make
done.
fun of that.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 Robert Downey Jr. movies I saw this week, and both of them are meh. I also watch The Great Mouse Detective.
Nice.
Sweet.
It's a great Disney movie. I haven't seen it in years, and I had lots of fun watching it.
Yeah, dude. Oh, I'm all about that stuff.
I haven't watched that in years, but I remember being very affected by Mouse Moriarty.
Yes.
He's just it's almost like that's been my envisionment of every villain in every movie I want to do, is just like this overtly rotund man who's just like, yes, I'm gonna take over the world today.
And voiced impeccably by Vincent Price. So
Yes.
and it looks great.
And it was
on-
one of his last roles, wasn't it?
It was. It looks great on Blu-ray. The bummer is it only has one special feature. It's a making of that's like 5
Really?
minutes long.
Was it like an archive thing, or was
Yeah,
it?
and the
Ooh.
archive, it shows like it's old footage before it was upgraded to Blu-ray. It looks horrible, but the Blu-ray makes it look great.
The DVDs, like some of the stuff that Disney puts out, goes out really extensively. Like Pirates of the
Oh,
Caribbean.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
was fantastic.
Disney I think makes the best
Disney,
Blu-rays.
Yeah, hands down, Dave. That's why I'm so surprised that this one's not great, because usually their Blu-rays are just
That's how I
fucking
felt
amazing.
the Muppets should have been. The Muppets was like, it's a good Blu-ray and it has the audio commentary on
Yeah.
it, but it doesn't have, like, I wanted a documentary
They-
about how Siegel went into making that.
They spend you're right, there's none of that, but they spent a lot of time. If you ever pause that movie while you're watching it, hours of fun. Honestly, there's documentaries about making the movie in the pause screen. Honestly,
it's like a maximum movie mode, like Kevin Smith did for Cop.
No. Like it pauses, and then like after, as it pauses for a while, it'll like you'll hear the characters talk, and then it'll start like a little documentary about. But it's like the lamest documentary you've ever seen.
It's
like
like produced
it's
for
purposely
Disney,
lame.
produced for Disney kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
it was like when they released the Muppet movies that Disney owned
Yeah.
on DVD. They did these like interviews with a Muppet, Kermit, Peppy the shrimp, like just weird
Yeah.
random characters like Fozzie. Like I believe you had to get to Muppet Caper for him or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were just the weirdest things. And I saw those in the Blu-ray for the Muppets, and I was like, oh, they're doing this again.
This is like I think it's like a making of the making of
Right.
documentary, like or something like that. Like it, yeah, or it's a trailer for the making of that touts that it's going to teach you nothing, something like that.
Right.
But I just mean they bury a lot of stuff in that DVD,
Absolutely.
so that's why I think on the face that one doesn't seem like much, because there is some cool stuff in there. But anyway,
I also
nothing.
watched. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this movie. It's called Josie and the Pussycats, and it's
Yes.
one
Oh
of
my
my
God.
like favorite guilty pleasure movies because it's so dumb, but it's so funny.
How did this come up?
I was at Tradesmart and it was $4, and I was like, "Fuck
All
yeah!"
right.
Well, the thing that's stupid too, what really makes me mad is they have the original version and they have a family edited version.
What?
I'm like, really? They're
Isn't that
editing
movie
it?
PG-13?
Josie and the Pussycats really needed to be PG-13 rated.
It
Yeah.
did.
You gotta add more sex to
Well,
these
yeah,
cats.
in that version, it's just called Josie and the Band.
Yes.
There's no.
It's called Josie and the you know what's going on here. Stop pretending.
But before you judge, it should really watch it. It's totally zany. It's
Yeah.
these. Parker Posey plays a record executive, and she's putting the movie phone guy in the background of all the music, and it's subliminally telling you to like things. So, like Coke, and you go out and buy Coke and things like that, and the soft drink guys. And
Right, yeah.
there's a boy band called Du Jour, and it has Breckenmeyer, Seth Green, Donald Faison, who's in Scrubs, and some other random guy. I don't even know who he is. But inside of their Learjet is Target stuff everywhere. And so the movie has all the subliminal messages and product placement in the movie
Right.
while they're telling you that the music you're listening to has product placement in it.
Yeah.
And it's just stupid, but it's funny. The boy band dies at the beginning because they want the new boy band, or in this case, the girl band, to promote the new stuff. And at the end, they all come back, and they said, "Oh my God, you guys, that plane crashed it to you?" And the one guy says, "What? You don't look so bad." He says, "No, it's not the plane crash. Our plane landed safely in a Metallica concert, and not a day goes by where I don't thank God I know the words to Enter the Sandman." I mean, those are like the lines in the movie. It's totally bizarre and funny, and give it a chance. I'm telling you.
That's good.
Enter Sandman rocks.
Totally, right?
All right.
And the last thing I saw, I was fortunate enough to get an advanced screening of Evil Dead.
Don't spoil it.
I'm not gonna.
No.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but I will tell you this: there is things in that movie I have never seen in a movie.
The
before.
trailer gave me 10 Frady P's. Like, it's an amazing trailer.
Yeah. Okay, do the trailer, but turn it up about 100 because there is moments in this movie I could not believe it's rated R.
Oh wow.
I will say that some of the acting isn't the greatest.
Okay.
But the gore is all practical for the most part.
Wow.
My favorite part about the movie is I went in there and they took my cell phone and they sweeped you for like electronics, so you won't steal any of the movie. And when I went in there, there was a lot of reserved seats, and I kept on walking. I was like, I got to find a place to sit, and I looked, and there was a studio executives part. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going to sit behind the studio executives because they're not going to say shit. And so I sat.
Jeffrey Robinov comes in and goes, "What the hell?"
Yeah. So I sat behind, and it was this one lady. She had 3 seats reserved for her, and she sat down and she had a notepad, and she was writing down audience reactions to the movie. And I will say I've never seen an audience react to a movie like I've seen react to this movie. Wow. It was awesome. And April 5th, definitely go see Evil Dead. There is parts where people really, 300 people go, oh shit, because there's parts that just blow your mind in this movie, and that they pulled it off.
It seems like they're hearkening back to when Halloween first screened, and they had those like reactions of like, "Oh no, PJ Souls, don't turn around."
Exactly, and if they were filming that would sell that movie. I mean, besides the Red Band trailer.
But honestly, the thing that makes me not go to movies the fastest is anytime you talk to the audience when they came out. Like that killed Kick-Ass. Like that's why no one went and saw Kick-Ass. Like when the trailer is like, these are real people coming out of the movie saying it's great. No one goes to see that movie.
Yeah, I understand, but it's 300 people gasping at a movie.
Yeah. But it's because it always seems fake when they do that in the trailer.
Yeah,
you always feel like, well, those guys are morons, and I'm smarter than them. So, I want to ask you a very hard question though, Ryan.
Okay.
This is a hard hitting question that you probably won't be able to answer.
Okay.
Ryan, am I gonna like this movie?
You don't like horror?
I don't like horror either.
You don't.
But I appreciate what these guys are setting a bar for.
Right.
Like, as of
I appreciate
for
it,
what
but
you get away with in
like,
film. Anytime they push it, I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Man, that's a tough question.
Because I'm somebody who hates torture porn, and I am so afraid that this movie is going to lose any heart and soul in order to flirt with being torture porn.
I don't.
No, it's not torture porn.
I'm not going to see it, to be honest, because I think it's just kind of cheap.
Yeah,
cheap thrills. When like there's a movie out there that's probably released at the same time that's got some pretty sweet writing to it. Like, but I've never been a horror fan my entire life. It's just nothing that I've been attracted to.
I mean, I'm not going to spoil it. I mean, there is parts that I did have problems with it.
Yeah.
Because I'm such a huge fan of Evil Dead, the trilogy. But I do respect what the filmmakers tried to do. And there is moments where I literally could not believe what they were doing on screen.
Yeah.
I think you can enjoy it. It's not torture porn. I promise.
Cool.
There is, if you've seen Evil Deads and you enjoy Evil Deads, it's in the same vein.
Does it still have any of the little bits of humor that we're in too? No, it goes straight to one. Doesn't it?
It is straight horror.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's not,
Yeah.
there's no campiness about it.
That's
No,
what
no.
That's what's clever about it, though. Like, I don't know.
I will say the one thing that you do miss in it is Bruce Campbell.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
Bruce is my
That's
boy.
what's been holding me back is there's no Ash.
Yeah, but we don't want an Ash because there's a guy in there where I guess he's trying to be the Ash character, but not funny. But he's just the straight guy.
No.
Yeah, you're just like,
Well,
this is nowhere close.
So this might just be like its own one-time thing. Like we may not get a series.
No, I think there's going to be a sequel.
Fun. I hope
They're-
they don't
they're-
with it.
yeah.
I hope they continue the trend. I don't want them to try to create a straight sequel to it. Cause
No, if you stay tuned for real news, we'll talk about
for sure
for what's going on with that stuff.
Well, I won't be able to.
But yeah, April 5th, go see Evil Dead. It'll blow your mind if you're a horror movie fan.
Good filmmaking, though. Like, is it like
Yeah.
Because that's like there's a difference between bad horror film and good filmmaking.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
The film is shot very well, and it has maybe one cheap scare in it, but most of the scares in it are legitimate like horror. It's not a loud noise from this orchestra or something passes in front of the camera really fast.
Yeah.
A lot of it is
Danny Elfman works really hard for that score, though, Ryan.
he does. I won't spoil the stuff in it, but there's moments that are just shocking, and the way they're shot is.
It's better than Texas Chainsaw.
Oh, dude!
See,
Don't even compare.
I think I like more of those old classic horrors, like Rosemary's Baby or like a Shining style. Like those are the things that I'll watch over and over. Even at late at night, I don't care because the filmmaking is just so good and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't say it's Kubrick.
I think it's
but,
the ghost stories I'm attracted to, and not a horror film.
Yeah.
To be honest, when it comes down to it, I love a ghost story in a movie, but I don't like horror films.
For me, it is the horror movies that are about people that those are the ones that I like. So for me, they're movies like Frailty or even Zodiac. The last moments of Zodiac scare the shit out of me.
Zodiac is the primary basis for what we're doing for The Boy Who Stares. Like, we took a lot out of there, like trying to create suspense and whatnot. That movie is fucking perfect in almost every way. Yeah, the opening. Why do people feel so lonely?
Yeah. Cool.
And that's what I watched this week. Brad, what did you watch?
What did you eat, Brad?
Sorry, getting caught in here. I watched one movie, but it was made up of 26 little movies, and that was called The ABCs of Death.
Okay, now I've heard about this thing.
Ty West is in that.
He is.
I don't entirely know what the hell it is.
It's basically another anthology, horror anthology.
But it's 26 movies.
It's 26 movies. You know, one that represents each letter of the alphabet. What they did is they gave all these different filmmakers. What?
That took me a second. I didn't put the 26 and the ABCs together. Honestly.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
Thank you.
That's okay, dude. I put it together at the same pace. I just didn't say anything.
Really
You were smart
like
enough
that.
to not admit it. Yeah.
It's like,
I didn't, and I'm not ashamed to admit that I didn't.
Yeah.
So they basically, I think, randomly gave a bunch of 26 different filmmakers a letter, and then they had to decide what they were going to make that letter represent in horror. Oddly enough, a lot of the films, like what they chose, isn't horror related. Like Q, they turned theirs into a movie called Quack, and it's about them trying to kill a duck because they can't think of what movie to make Q represent.
Yeah.
So there's actually two films that cop out where the storyline is, we have this project and we don't know what to do with it, so let's just fuck around and make something random.
Yeah.
And the other one is W for What the Fuck, and it's made by the guys who do Metalocalypse, the cartoon.
Oh, wow.
So theirs just evolves into all the montage parts of Metalocalypse, where there's just like random stuff floating around the scene, and, like things are getting just murdered and stuff, and that's great. It's both of them are actually kind of like witty and funny, but as far as like being a horror themed thing, it's not too literal. But I was going to go over not all 26, but there were some. It has its ups and downs. There's some very shocking, ridiculous stuff, and there's also just kind of like, oh, okay, that's whatever. Actually, Ty West's one, which he got M for. He did Miscarriage, and it's only about 2 minutes.
Oh wow.
That's all Ty West needs to make a good movie.
True.
I'm thoroughly convinced of that. After watching The Innkeepers and House of the Devil, I'm just like, this man is a genius.
Yeah, I love those movies.
What he's doing.
The Innkeepers,
that's a perfect horror comedy.
It's like Clerks, but a horror, because it's just two people sitting behind a counter.
It is Clerks with horror.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Just shooting the shit. And anyway, but his was a little disappointing because it's so brief, and it's also just like, weirdly, there's 4 or 5 stories that revolve around a toilet. So I don't know if there's like a conspiracy to get together about like shit stories. So, but
it was just 5 people sitting in a room going, "Well, what the fuck are we gonna do for these movies?"
Yeah, a lot of them do feel like that.
Toilet, because Hitchcock loved toilets apparently.
A lot of the filmmakers are either Spanish or Japanese, and the one that like was really bizarre, it's like, and it comes in early on and it stands out right away, is F. And it's F for fart, and it's a Japanese one. And I have the Wikipedia descriptions here to help me describe.
Fart kill?
Exactly.
No,
no.
Okay, so
You're lying.
Fart jokes are not funny. I'm going to tell you right now.
No, fart jokes aren't scary.
and they are not funny either. Barfing is funny all the time, though.
Yeah, it's definitely not scary. It's what I watched recently. Never mind. Okay, I got the Wikipedia descriptions here to help me because there's too many to remember how to describe it concisely. But in Japan, a schoolgirl claims that she does not believe that God exists. If he did, he wouldn't allow sensitive girls to fart. As she is farting, she is discovered by a female teacher, Miss Yumi. The girl is revealed to have romantic feelings for Miss Yumi, her favorite teacher. The ground shakes and an earthquake releases poisonous gas that kills everyone. The girl and Miss Yumi run away to escape the gas, and in a room, the girl confesses to wanting to die by smelling Miss Yumi's gas instead. Miss Yumi removes her skirt and farts for the girl. In the movie, She pulls down her panties, bares her ass, and a yellow cloud just starts emanating in the other girl's face, and she's enjoying it from the expression on her face. It is going up into her nostrils. The girl bends down to receive her gas, which is yellow. The yellow gas surrounds the girl and consumes her. She and Miss Yumi are shown naked inside a yellow area. That's right. It goes into this ethereal world where they're like curled up in the fetal position.
They're in the fart now, right?
In the fart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fart is a different like temporal
The
zone.
fart netherworld. The girls embrace and kiss, yeah.
Man.
So
What? So they fart in the kiss? Or
Yeah.
they kiss in the fart?
they're fetal curled up together and they're
It's
just
hot.
embracing the fart.
Well, I take
Cloud.
everything back I said about farts. That sounds good. I
Yeah.
love it.
Did it sound scary?
I love the Japanese. We're gonna end it on that one with me.
There's actually
You
not.
just described every fever dream that Gary Busey's ever had.
Oh,
What's
it's written by
going
Gary
on
Busey.
over
How
there
odd.
on the other side of the world? That's what I want to know.
And that wasn't even the most fucked up of the Japanese ones I saw.
Oh my god.
Oh, this is good.
The one really haunting one was G for Gravity, and that short was just a point of view shot, like from a GoPro camera. Really low quality, even though it was like GoPros are high def. But the guy just drives up to a beach, parks the car, gets out, opens up his trunk. He's got I don't remember how a surfboard fit in there, but it did. He's got like a little hatchback too. And then he opens up a blue bag and starts putting bricks into it. Closes up the bag. You watch him walk out into the sand, toss the surfboard in the water, and he starts paddling out as far as he can. And then all of a sudden you hear this like kerthunk, and then he just goes underwater, and you never see him. It's just always all his view. And then I think there's like a dissolves to indicate time has passed, and then he floats back to the top. And I guess I didn't put together that the bricks were like he was drowning himself.
Right.
But you know, there's no dialogue. It's just pretty much the sound of everything around him, and
Wow.
that, like I found that haunting. So yeah,
What's the other creepy Asian one?
the other creepy Asian ones, cycle dogfight. There was one called Dogfight, which was just like a boxer fighting a really rabid dog, and it was all in slow motion. And it was like really crisp, like yeah. Like the visuals really cool in like in that Phantom Cam slow motion, and I imagine that if it had been in like real time motion, watching this guy just punch a dog in the face repeatedly would have been hilarious,
Yeah.
hilariously comedic. But the fact that it's slowed down and it's got like that Fincher grayed out, yeah, and just like these two animals fighting each other. That was cool. Otherwise, the story was just really simple. Like he's fighting this dog, you know.
Yeah.
And also each of the films would play, and then at the end of the film, the screen would run red with blood, and then these baby blocks would appear up through the blood to spell out like what the title of the film was. So it'd be like A is for apocalypse, you know, whatnot. So that was cool, but it was the same thing 26 times. Dogfight. H is for hydroelectric diffusion. It was a guy and a girl dressed up as like furry cosplay. Like the guy was a dog who was like a World War II pilot,
I'm in.
and then the girl was like a burlesque, fox. And
This is all too much for 26 films.
she turns out to be a Nazi, and she like throws this like hydroelectric lever and like tries to electrocute the dog pilot. Yeah,
I love twists
wow.
and turns like that. That sounds awesome. All right, some intrigue.
Let's get to the other shocking ones, I guess. Oh, actually, there's a really good like cinematography wise. O was for orgasm.
Right. Okay.
And
Nice.
a man
That
and
is a
woman are
scary
shown
thing.
in provocative scenes. The woman throws her head back, and bubbles emerge from her mouth. The sounds of whips can be heard as she moans in various parts of the body. It's basically just like kind of like a long montage of just like all these like very slow motion, dreamy, like the bubbles floating around stuff, and the sexy imagery. Yeah, but this it was shot really well.
Like, hey, Brad, come on over here.
There's the one where this, I think, Asian guy, he buys a parrot, and he shows his girlfriend that he taught, the parrot to say some things, And then as it's like, oh, that's cute. And then all of a sudden the parrot starts repeating like stuff that happened the night before with the mistress that he's keeping. And so she stabs him. But
What about the bird? Did she kill the bird?
the bird got away. He was fine.
Oh, good. As long as the bird gets away.
Yeah, but the bird was funny because he's just like bouncing up and down. So.
The bird was a strong point of that film. The whole film 26.
L is for libido. Is that the one? Yeah. Okay. So a bag is pulled off a man's head. He looks over and finds himself restrained with leather straps to a chair with people wearing masks watching him. Another man is also restrained in a chair a few feet away from him, and a naked woman appears on a stage in front of them and starts dancing. The side of the screen shows the words Stage 1. The man in the other chair masturbates, and the first man follows suit.
Okay.
Is it like hardcore? Is he like
whole movie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically
Beating it off.
it's short about like you got to beat the other guy before he ejaculates, so that you can go on to the next round, and they end up having to be subjected to more and more horrific things.
I don't like where Bob Barker's going these days.
Do they kill
It's
the
the
guy
worst game
who
show.
finishes second?
Yeah, he gets.
Oh, no.
He gets killed with a metal pipe that like gets inserted like
No. No.
right through his asshole,
No.
up through his mouth,
No.
and at one point the
he
Vanna
doesn't.
White for the game show is
Yeah.
like leaning over his shoulder, and she's not paying attention, so it goes up through his face and then hers too.
No.
and pops her eye out.
Wha-
Yeah, and then
I'm not okay.
yeah, it's
That's a little intense.
those Asians. Yeah.
They could have had it go through his pee hole.
Okay, you're right. Wait a
Could've been a
silver
lot
lining.
worse.
Spencer.
Oh,
yeah.
and because he wins.
So then, like after that, it's not a naked lady anymore. Now it's like something not sexy.
It less sexy. Like there's an old person getting naked,
Chelsea Handler.
and then there's a
Oh God! Zing! No,
where'd that come from?
I don't.
as you should.
You know what? I still think she's hot.
I
right?
don't think she's funny. I get why she has a career, but I don't think she's that funny. She doesn't seem that funny to me.
Other stuff.
She's okay.
She's probably funnier than a man fucking a boy, which is like the
Oh
next
no!
level.
No, what?
Yeah, that's awful.
And that's
way
in the
funnier.
movie.
That's
oh
in the
my
movie.
God, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Like not since Father's Day have you shocked me so.
Fucking Father's Day.
There's one called Unearthed, which was it's another point of view one where
Buried but backwards.
huh?
It's like buried but backwards.
Yeah, like they dig up this thing, which is the thing is the point of view the whole time.
It's Ryan
Okay.
Reynolds.
So they dig up a
that movie.
they dig up a
They dig
GoPro.
up they dig up a DVD of the Green Lantern, and it starts talking. It starts attacking
They
everyone.
bury it again.
It's a little visually, it's like Blair Witch, except like this thing that you can't see is attacking all these people who are trying to like fight it off, and it's just like running through the forest, and they're trying to chase it and kill it, but it's also like attacking, like biting people in the neck, and then finally they get it, and you watch like it getting its head cut off, but from its point of view and stuff. And I thought that was pretty haunting. Yeah, those are probably the standouts, and then like the last one, Z is for Zetsu Metsu, which is another Japanese thing that was just like apocalyptic, and there was like lots of nudity and game show style stuff. And
That's
All right,
how I was always
yeah.
pictured the apocalypse. It's just a lot of nudity and a lot of The Price is Right.
exactly.
What, here's
The end of the world is a game show.
Here's the bottom line, Brad. Should people go see this?
If you like what I described, if any of that sounded interesting to you, I was entertained by a few of them.
Does somebody have that many personalities?
Yeah, it's up. I don't know if I can recommend it because of all like it's pretty shocking, some of the stuff, and
Yeah. And I would imagine kind of inconsistent. I mean, because like with normal shorts, you could put them in an order so that they sort of flow for tonally and things
yeah,
like that.
they're
But
restricted
because
by
they
the
are
letters of the
restricted,
alphabet.
yeah, like if it's in alphabetical order, then it means that you could go from one that's really good and dark and intense to like one that's not, and that would make it pretty hard to watch, I would imagine.
Sorry, I was remembering. There's this really badass one that was like it looked like a movie version of Mass Effect.
Oh yeah.
With the robot that was like shooting everyone. Never mind. Oh, and there's also Jason Eisner, who did Hobo with a Shotgun. He had a short in there about a kid who's being trained to shoot deer by a pedophilic gym teacher.
Oh, good.
Sorry.
Well, yeah.
They're a crack shot.
When I need, oh, cool.
Yeah, sorry, that was all disjointed, but that was like a ton of stuff to remember.
That's all right. You'll go. I know you. You'll go back in and you'll cut them all into alphabetical order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Me or them.
you, or I think we should get to our guests.
All right.
All right.
All right. Matt's saying me.
All right, James,
All right.
go
Well,
for it.
I'm quick. So
Hear that,
I-
ladies? He's quick. I haven't said anything in like 15 minutes. So.
I know. Ryan was getting uncomfortable. He's looking at the time. He's like,
I got to make fun of him right now.
I'm like, I'm
So-
the host of this show and I'm not even talking.
StarCraft 2 came out this week, so I didn't do much.
I played Tomb Raider. That's
I played a lot
awesome.
of stuff. Man, isn't that game great?
Yeah.
That's the reason I didn't watch anything last week.
See, I have a obligation to the podcast, so not only do I play
do too.
Tomb Raider, I
That's
still
why.
watch stuff.
That's why yesterday I forced myself to watch Manhunter, which I'd never seen before. Yeah, I'd never seen Manhunter
It's
before.
the Michael Mann.
Yeah, it's Michael
Brian
Mann.
Cox as Hannibal Lecter.
Yes, yeah, that's the prequel to Silence of the Lambs. I mean, it was made before Silence of the Lambs, so that's unfair. But
It's the Red Dragon's like the reboot.
Yeah,
Right,
Red-
and
Red
so
Dra-
here's-
it's essentially Red Dragon, but by Michael Mann.
right, and here's the thing: I didn't know that. I didn't know that it was Red Dragon, and I really like Red Dragon. No matter what the Brett Ratner naysayers will, I really
Brett
like.
Ratner was
yeah.
in black and white.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like as an actor,
No, he's shooting the music video for the rapper.
does he bring in nothing to the role?
Absolutely.
Yep, that's what he does. That's not a bad thing. It's that he
You
doesn't
like how I
elevate
set
anything.
that up, though?
Yeah, he doesn't elevate anything. He doesn't make anything worse. Like
He's
he
just there.
he just does it, and it's okay. In Red Dragon, that script I think is really good, and so when he does it, it works. Unlike that, I don't really like Manhunter very much, and part of it is it's very 80s, and it's very Michael Mann in the 80s. There's a lot of like 80s music, and yeah, there's
It's
a lot of
different
synth.
if you grew
There's-
up on Anthony Hopkins. It really is. If
Yeah,
you grew
that's
up
true,
on Anthony
yeah.
as that
Well,
character,
but-
it's very hard to accept.
And Brian Cox is not in the movie that much.
he's
Certainly
not.
not as much as he is in, or Hannibal Lecter is not in that movie as much as Hannibal Lecter is in Red Dragon.
Right.
He's in like one or two scenes really, and there's nothing for Brian Cox to even do.
Right.
Like he's kind of creepy, but there's nothing there.
Yeah, it's more about Will. Than
Yeah,
anything else.
and the way there's two big problems for me. One, I don't like the Michael Mann-ness of it. I think gets in the way a lot of the time. There's so much like style and look how blue this shot is that I don't enjoy what I'm looking at. I like there's not story that's propelling everything. And the other thing is that part of why I love Red Dragon is that they pay particular attention to that relationship between the killer, the Tooth Fairy in Red Dragon, and the girl he falls in love with, the blind girl, and they build that relationship with in a very specific way, and gradually, and actually make you feel for those two characters and kind of believe to some extent. Like, yes, it is a view into why this guy's crazy and how crazy this guy is, but they actually kind of, I think, get to a place where you believe maybe she's turning him around. Like maybe she's the thing that like she's tapped into something, and maybe he's going to be okay. And then of course he's not, and everything burns down, and then people die. And I love that. And this movie completely fails at that. Like it goes through the whole thing and like puts the FBI agent's family in jeopardy and all that stuff, and then jumps over and introduces us to the killer, and does it like as two different stories. So if you were liking the first one, it completely leaves the other behind. It doesn't intermingle them at all. So by the end, it's not like a climax. It's like, oh, okay, these two stories were happening at the same time, I guess. And it's distracting and doesn't do a good job, I don't think, at really making you like those characters. Makes me realize I don't think I like Michael Mann very much. Certainly not as a writer. Obviously Heat is amazing, but I think his movies are very hit and miss.
Yep.
But seriously, that's all I've been watching. Guys? You seen
Well,
anything, Spence?
I watched the first act of Snow White and the Huntsman.
Oh, you
before I fell asleep.
you got through the whole first act.
So, yeah.
Nicely done. Yeah.
You're stronger than the rest of us.
To be fair, that might be the worst act of the three.
yeah,
But-
the,
I was
when
paying
it gets
attention
to the dwarves,
for a
it's
good
great.
part. Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
got to the dwarves and I was like, down for the
You
count.
get to see Nick Frost acting all fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Not great, is it?
So you were sleepy.
I was.
Whoa!
Some of us work at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, some of us do.
Yeah, so I felt like what's that guy's name?
Chris Hemsworth.
He copied the Highlander. He sounded like the Highlander the whole time.
Ah.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
leave Duncan MacLeod alone and go
Yeah.
back to acting like Thor, like a badass.
Okay, I totally see where you're going. Yep.
Yes, and that's all I got for you. That other girl from the other movie.
The Twilight.
Yeah, exactly.
she's
Kristen
horrible.
Stewart. Yeah,
Kristen Stewart.
I don't know, man.
Later, though, in that movie, she smiles a couple times.
Oh,
Pretty
nice.
good.
Oh
And
my
you know what?
gosh,
She's not that.
yes, the
she's
miracle
not
upon miracles.
horrible when she
We
smiles.
finally got an emotion out of that woman after like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen In the Land of Women?
No.
No.
That was an awesome movie. She was a bit younger, but Meg
Yeah.
Ryan was in it,
She-
and
she-
the little dude from the OC was in it.
Here's the thing: she's a good actress. I think that those Twilight movies are—I don't know what she's doing with them, but I saw the Runaways, and she's really good in the Runaways.
Oh, yeah?
She's really solid in it. She knows exactly what she's doing. It's more Dakota Fanning's movie. So when Stewart's on screen, it's a little bit more like we're a little bit more invested in her as Joan Jett.
Yeah.
Because it follows Cherie Darling more than anything else. But
And I think that's a movie where I haven't seen it, but her as Joan Jett sort of makes sense as far as like the pouty, dark,
it makes sense. And you know what's funny? She's not even that bad in The Huntsman. I really do feel that the reason that she gets a lot of the flack that she does for Twilight is because that she's working off a poorly written script.
Yeah.
And
I
she
saw
probably
the
has
first
nothing
three.
to do with vampires,
Yeah.
so she doesn't know how to
Yeah.
portray them. But Joan Jett, she probably loves it. Everyone loves Joan Jett.
I saw the first 3 Twilight movies in the theater because I used to go with my sister. We didn't see the last 2 because I just said I'm done watching these.
Yeah.
But David Slade.
That's too
directed
bad because they get better.
Yeah, David Slade directed the third one, and the
Yeah.
third one was really fun. And that's when I came to the conclusion is everybody else is trying here. They're working off of a really crappy story.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Everything should be there for something fun, but it's just the script is just not up to par.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels like that. Like I don't feel like they're trying. And then I've heard that the last film has like the most insane like fucking climax ever, where they're all killing each other.
Oh, it's pretty awful.
And I
yeah.
want to
It's
see
great.
that solely for that. Like I refuse to watch part 1 because I refuse to watch another Deer Hunter wedding with vampires.
No,
So-
no, because part one has the vampire C-section in it, which is
Yeah, which is
like vampire C-sections. Every movie should have one just
Yeah.
at the beginning, just to get it out of the way, and
okay.
then
Just to get it out of the way for like Schindler's List.
Yeah,
we need to
right.
have that one
Yeah.
vampire abortion before we go.
yeah, no, not abortion. That would be horrible.
No.
C-section. We're
C-section,
saving
there-
lives here.
There we go.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you have anything else?
No. We were just
Okay,
talking about. Yeah, it's your turn now.
Okay. I picked up on a whim. I picked up Hitchcock on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And I dug it as a movie fan and as a film fan, as a classic film fan. But I felt like like what I wanted to see out of Anthony Hopkins wasn't exactly what I was going to get. But Helen Mirren as Alma Hitchcock was an amazing performance. Like it totally sells the film around her. It is about Alma. That
Yep.
movie is about how Alma made that man able to do the things that he does. And Hitchcock's played more like a supporting character. And I totally dug it. And he got Hitchcock down to a T. He got everything down perfectly. The voice is a little fluctuating, but I expected that. I wasn't like looking for perfection here. Like I
Right.
knew this wasn't going to sweep anything. But I watched it. Like they got everything down. Like Scarlett Johansson plays a great Janet Leigh. Beale played Vera Miles so perfectly. Like she got that condescension down about how she felt about Hitchcock and all of these things. Like
Yeah.
I was thoroughly impressed, and I love that James Darcy plays Norman Bates or Anthony Perkins because he handled that moment so well about like trying to hide something because
Yeah.
Anthony Perkins was bisexual, and it's you always have that feeling behind that Norman character like he's drawing from something, and they make it perfectly clear. And just to watch that was just kind of beautiful. So
Yeah.
I thought they casted that film perfectly.
And that's one of those cool scenes because they it's played for laughs to some extent, but it's a sort of deep character driven moment when he's sitting on the couch and he's like, where we know that Hitchcock knows what he's talking about, but is sort of feeding him this like, I think you could draw on something from your life. And is almost like extending this, like, I know what you are, and I want you to use that in my movie.
Yeah, it feels like the Ed Wood of its not the Ed Wood of its time, but like, and it's a weird film. Like nobody really, I don't know many people who know about Ed Wood beyond like maybe people like us, but,
right?
Like that film is a great film about a filmmaker, and that I feel like Hitchcock is in that same vein. But Helen Mirren's the one who's giving the Martin Landau performance in this film. Yeah. And Anthony Hopkins is perfect in it. But, I totally dug that. And I also saw, for the first time, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh, yeah.
I hadn't seen it for 5 years. I'd had people shoving down my throat to go watch it. They were just like, you have to watch this movie. You have to watch this movie. You're a filmmaker. You have to watch it. I'm like, no, I don't. I
don't have to.
Do. But I love Jim Carrey, leading to what we're going to talk about later. I love Jim Carrey, especially in Man on the Moon and The Truman Show, and even The Majestic. I'm a huge fan of The Majestic.
Yeah, I love The Majestic.
Bruce Campbell, shout out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But so I watched Eternal Sunshine, and that film is just like, it's a painful watch because it's so like it's like that, like you don't want to look at it because you realize that you're looking a lot of what life is in the face sometimes, but that film was shot so perfectly and the practical illusions and effects were so incredible that I was just overwhelmed by like what Michel Gondry did to make that film. Like it was incredible.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty and interesting to look at for sure. Like that movie's impressive.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in a while, but I remember it stuck with me for a while after I saw it. Just thinking about it, and
it's a very like it's a great like I love how it plays on that romantic the romantic story. Like whether it's romantic comedy, romantic drama, or whatnot, you have that same kind of storyline or that same kind of like act structure of like this is when the guy gets the girl back or something like that.
Right,
but they played on it very well, and Charlie Kaufman's very good about writing that perfectly. Like if you watch Being John Malkovich, you realize how genius he is at writing relationships. It's almost insane. And Synecdoche, New York is the top tier example because he breaks down every door, and you're just amazed that he's able to break down that door, and yet somehow it makes sense.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, that movie, Eternal Sunshine, made me think Kristen Dunst was the hottest girl in the world.
She broke my heart, and I love Kristen Dunst, but I never loved her that much until that movie.
Yeah.
And she is so, she broke my heart in that movie. I'm just like, I want to reach out to you.
And I got my style from Mark Ruffalo in that movie. That was like super inspirational. Like that dude's banging Kristen Dunst in this. I'm gonna be like Mark Ruffalo.
I have to look
and
exactly
since then,
like him.
look at this. I
Yeah.
have it. I
Yeah,
have.
you're right.
I have the
Yeah.
Ruffalo going a little bit.
I know why Jim Carrey's building weapons of mass destruction.
He's got things to do. What else? Did you watch anything else this week, Zeest?
I also watched an incredible film by the name of Man on the Moon, which I hadn't watched in years. I geared up for our movie tonight, and I love Man on the Moon because it hits Andy Kaufman so perfectly as a person. But Carey's performance, I will say this out loud, how the fuck he didn't get a nomination for an Academy Award for that is beyond me, because he really gets into it. Like, he really... It's that scene where he's with the prostitutes and he's jumping on the bed with the prostitutes, and then he just goes, "Hey, you guys want to come and help me destroy a television show in Hollywood for $400?" And they just turn to it for $500, and he just gives that childlike smile of like, I get to have my wish come true.
Watched that at the film school lobby together like a couple years ago. Remember that?
Yeah, we were sitting there, and it was right before Maddie Voyage, and we were sitting there and we're just enjoying it, and I was just like, I can't believe that you have. I couldn't believe that you knew about that movie, because I thought nobody knew about that movie.
It was playing at the film school. Like, if you go to the film school, sometimes they have movies playing in the lobby, and it was way before. Now they have Netflix just rolling all day long, but you had to, like, there's a movie in there every day, like from the DVD collection that would just play on repeat.
Every time they play a Daniel Day-Lewis marathon in the lobby, I get excited, go like, "Oh, everybody get a milkshake! Let's get ready to go!"
Class got out, and I didn't have a car at the time. I just moved up to Denver to go to film school. Like, didn't have, like, I was relying on my roommates, and they're like, "We're gonna be super late. I'm sorry," but I was like, "It's cool." So I sat down, and just started watching the movie, and it was Man on the Moon. And then Zeesman joined me, and we just watched the whole thing in the film school. My roommate came in, and we just sat down and just finished the whole thing because like he is awesome in that, like hands down.
Oh, it's an incredible film. Milos Forman is a great director, and from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest down to that, it's just incredible. Forget about it.
It is.
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw
Amadeus,
Amadeus.
It's bizarre how
It was God who was mocking me.
It's bizarre how, and I think Adam Sandler honestly gets this too. Like when actors, and especially like wacky comedic actors like that, switch over and do drama, I don't think they get any respect for it.
Watch Reign Over Me or
I was
Funny
I
People.
was just gonna say, like Reign Over Me, the fact that no one talks about that movie and how amazing he is in that movie.
I saw that in the
is-
theater with my father because I wanted to see Adam Sandler do something serious.
Yeah.
Because I was tired of watching he was doing all those comedies and whatnot. I was into them, but I was just like, I want to see this one. It's got Don Cheadle from Ocean's 11, and I was like 12 or 13 when we saw it. And it's a really fun film, and he gets into a very emotional place that I wasn't expecting out of him until I saw Funny People. When he's singing that song about how he's going to die, he's like, George, don't visit George Simmons' grave because he'll spit on all of you or something like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was the most hilarious and sad moment in a film that year that I'd ever
There's
seen.
some
Like, I
really
cried.
good moments of Funny People, but I feel like he didn't hit it as strong as he could have. Like that.
It's not. I mean, it's not the strongest thing.
It's
he's
like
done. I
a
mean,
really
Reign
good
Over Me
writing,
is-
really good story. Like it went on a little too long. I don't think they should go in San Francisco, but the arc of the movie is really cool. But I think there's some moments of Adam Sandler in that movie that are really, really good. And then there's some I'm like, oh man, he didn't.
Punch
he was,
Drunk
he was
Love
lazy that
is
day.
his dream. Like
Yeah,
Punch
Punch
Drunk
Drunk
Love
Love
is the top tier for him to me.
It's one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies.
Oh God, P.T. Anderson is a god. And if anybody here, I haven't listened to every episode. I'm still finishing. But if anybody here doesn't like The Master,
James.
oh God, let's get into it now.
'Cause I bought the Blu-ray 2 days ago and already watched it once.
Oh, yeah?
love
Yeah.
that movie.
What were you doing while you watched it? Like you didn't just waste that 3 hours, did you?
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Fine.
That
it's okay.
movie, I will
Fight,
say this: that
fight,
movie is so
fight,
challenging that I feel like it forces you to watch it again, and that's what the beauty of that film is. If you're really into it, and if you're really into what you're seeing on that screen, you're going to watch it again, and that's what makes it so beautiful. But those performances are amazing. That story is very challenging, but the way they visually represent that story is amazing. Like it leaves so much room for interpretation. Like I'm almost flabbergasted by it. Like I've watched that film 5 times and I still don't get everything that's going on in it.
And I'm trying to study Joaquin's drunkenness. I think he does a really good drunk, and I want to
He
figure
did
out.
no.
I want to figure out how he does
all-
drunk.
All you
I'm
have to do is
studying
watch
that.
the Blu-ray and watch the Let There Be Light documentary by John Huston that he did back in the 40s, but it got banned because the U.S. government didn't want that stuff going out. You have to watch that, and you
It's
realize
on the Blu-ray.
yeah,
Oh,
and
I'm
you
gonna
realize
go
that
search when I get home.
that's where a lot of Freddie's attitude when he's like in the hospital room and he's going like, that looks like a pussy, that looks like another
Yeah.
pussy. It's
I
the
think
best
it's-
scene in the movie
I
for
think it's an
me.
interesting movie if you think of it like. What's your take on it? Who is those two characters? Or who do you think they are? Do you have like because I feel that they're
Oh, they
almost
loved each other.
I don't subscribe to the theory that they love each other.
No.
I think they're the same person of like the two different forms of man. There's like the completely brilliant man. Like there's people out there who are only attracted to the smarts in people. Like Amy Mann's character, for instance, she's attracted to the brilliance in someone. And I think there's a word for that. I just can't think of it right now. I've seen it a lot lately. But like someone who's not in love with like someone's looks, but like you hear them talk and you're like, that person's smart, and that's what the attraction is too.
Yeah.
And I think that is Lancaster Dodd's character. And then the whole other, that's like the future of man, and the past of man, and the kind of primal man is Freddy. And he
So-
is like the primal.
So this is a long way of saying that you saw The Master this week.
No. I saw it in theaters. I saw it in theaters with my old girlfriend one time, and I like went down to the actual theater, or what was that? What was it at?
That was down at the Esquire. That
Yeah.
was down.
No,
I know you took her.
I
down
definitely
there.
saw the Esquire. I had a good time. Like it's really really cool scene in the theater. But like I saw like a whole bunch of film school kids when we just sat next to each other. But I think he's like the primal man. And then also if you notice the girl at the end when Freddy hooks up with her, I feel like
Looks a lot like
looks a lot
Philip Seymour
good old
Hoffman.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, if you ask me. Like maybe he was like there's maybe a little bit of that theory of like they're so alike and they loved not.
She had
maybe
chin hair, guys.
they loved
I
each
I
other.
I think all of what you're saying is really interesting.
Watch it again and watch it from
I
the
really
same
wish I
man.
liked any of those characters.
That's all right. You don't have
That's
to.
fine. No, that's totally. The beauty of that film is that it's really up to you.
I like the pig fuck line. That's hilarious. It gets me
yeah.
every time.
Wow, you have so many questions. Big fuck.
But no,
I will say this though: the one thing it didn't have, there wasn't any talks about milkshakes in it. So
no, I was disappointed on the lack of crazy cool one shots in it.
we
'cause
had no
that's why I
Daniel
was
Day
like-
Lewis in that movie.
I was super pumped because I'm a P.T. Anderson fan, and like especially my favorite film is Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
And
I love Boogie Nights.
My first feature I'm trying to write right now is kind of like an esque of Boogie Nights, but with Denver art and Denver kind of like the art community. But like Boogie Nights is amazing. Like I wanted those one shots.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they didn't have the one shots in the master. I was kind of sad.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. I would love for him to get back to telling stories the way he used to.
Oh, he's super
Like
good.
at this point, I feel like it just feels like he's very. I don't
Yeah, I
want to
think
say
you-
this in front of people
say
who
it,
like
say it,
this
say it,
movie.
say it.
I feel like he is very up his own ass.
He is in
right
this
now.
one. I think
Like,
he learned
it's-
his lesson because people gave him shit for this one.
Is
He
there
might
really a
release something
problem
like-
with that though? I guess
Yeah.
I wonder, is there really a big problem with that? Because you've got like 5 other films that are probably more up your alley. But like I feel like if he wants to do it, let him do it. He already established himself with it. But I guess I'm more quick to defend that film because I really appreciate what he was trying to do.
He also started a really long time ago, and he was writing it, and I feel like he got to the point where he was just no fresh eyes on it, and kind of like really up his own ass, like you said.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe didn't show it to anybody and filmed it, and then realized they didn't get anything to film because I think they filmed a lot more than they actually.
Oh yeah.
showed.
There's like. What is it? There's like another 40 minutes or something like that that's deleted out of the
Yeah,
movie.
and
Right, which
like,
I
that's
really
a
want to
filmmaker.
see. Like I want to see that complete story.
I
but,
totally
like,
understand where he like you film a bunch of stuff and you're in the moment and you're filming a bunch of stuff because everything feels right, and then when you get in this editing bay, you're like, well, let's see what the story's at actually. Then if we have time for funny stuff to put in, but they hit 3 hours, we're like, we got to cut so much stuff out.
Right, yeah.
But,
Absolutely.
like, it is like there's a lot of really cool moments in there that I've drawn to at the time and through experiences I've seen. I think like that I connected to.
Cool.
Just a lot of stuff. I think it's kind of neat perspective. But as I'm editing right now, I haven't been able to see a lot of movies, but I'm taking a film theory class right now for my BFA in writing and directing. We watched American Beauty this week in class.
Oh yeah.
And I remember my first day of film school, I got a lot of shit because I never saw American Beauty like 4 years ago. So I went out and bought it like that night and watched it. And I loved the film. And then
He called me up right that night and went, Zach, what do you think this
No,
is the beauty?
no, dude, that was way before I knew you. That was like my first year.
No,
this was first year of film school.
No,
before
you called me about Boogie
You were
Nights.
still
I'm
in
sorry
high
about
school.
that.
That's
You
Boogie
called
Nights.
me about Boogie Nights.
I did call
yeah.
you about Boogie Nights. He let me borrow Boogie Nights for the first time. Like a true friend
He's like,
should.
oh, really, guys, you got to watch this.
if you have Boogie Nights, give it to a friend that hasn't seen it right now.
Yeah, do it.
But
Be like me, guys.
American Beauty was like the first time I ever saw like that kind of. I was used to watching like Judd Apatow, 40 Year Old Virgins, and like that got into film school because I liked Hot Rod and I wanted to make funny comedies. That was the first time I ever saw like a film that like was really deeper than I was expecting to get into, and that was a good experience. And it was really cool seeing it 4 years later after going through all film school, and then it was like a reflection of my first year almost. It was really neat. Like the kind of times came up, and it was just like, oh wow, this is, and it was a symbolism almost for that whole film school career of American Beauty. Like I couldn't believe how timely that film came out, like for me watching it.
For you to see it.
Right.
Do you have a class where you just film plastic bags floating around?
I wish though. It's documentary class. I didn't take that one. I took art direction instead.
That's our third year like senior pep rally at film school. Is we all have to film a plastic bag and try to create a metaphor.
Don't you know the tagline for his film? It's the boy who stares at bags.
You've been saving that for 2 hours.
Dude, that's been like
the
2
bags are
weeks, thank
voiced
you.
by Kevin Spacey and Werner Herzog, and they're all in a big little bubble together, and they all love each other.
I like American Beauty, but Forrest Gump does the floating metaphor way better.
Oh
yeah.
Go ahead. Never mind.
Sounds like you were about to get some American Beauty,
Well,
like deepness.
I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Forrest Gump, but I
again.
would agree with that. The feather is much more impactful.
I will also go that American Beauty, the first time I saw it, like I said 4 years ago when I first started film school, never smoked pot before I saw that movie. And then I was like, it's working for Kevin Spacey. It's going to work for me. And it's been true love ever since.
I was just going to give you a tagline for your fake the boy who stares
The
at
boy who
bags,
stares.
but never mind.
Let's hear it.
Now there's so much
I
build-up for it.
want to
No,
hear it
no,
now,
yeah.
Brad.
It's going to be get bagged, but yeah.
Get back.
Another tagline is what The boy who stares at whatever you did last night. C-SPAN. That's it.
Yeah.
But I also saw The Master. Then I've been catching up on Community because
Yeah.
I watched the first 2 episodes, and that little scene where Britta jumps out of the bed and goes outside. I got so mad at that, and I just stopped watching it for a while. But then I caught up because I was like, I wasn't ready for that kind of.
It doesn't.
That's too silly for
Yeah.
Community. Like,
Yep.
what's she doing?
It's the wrong
dancing
kind
around
of silly.
outside? Yeah,
Because
it's the
there's a
wrong-
lot of
that's
silly in
true.
Community. It's a weird kind of silly.
It didn't hit the tone of
Yeah.
Community that I love. But then Community won me back with the do the right thing joke, and I was like, I'm in. And I like when they're like,
Oh yeah,
when-
well, because the thing you have to realize is that yes, Dan Harmon is gone, but the writers are still there,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
those actors are the same actors. So
Exactly.
like they're still hitting a lot of the notes and doing a lot of the same stuff. But like I'm the same way. Like it pulls me in both directions because like I didn't see this week's episode, but I saw last week's, and when it ended, I felt like, oh no, they're killing it.
I
Like
wanna love it so
like
bad,
the
though.
last week's episode, I was just like, this is so tonally not my show.
they're messing up the tone so bad because
Yeah.
Hartman's like quirkiness is not there, and that's what was
Yeah.
golden to it.
I think what it is that they're creating a sitcom that doesn't need to be a sitcom. Like it's not a sitcom.
Well,
it's Arrested Development. I love it. It's technically a
That whole
sitcom.
Kim Burns
It's not a
episode.
sitcom.
Yeah.
It's
Kim
a
Burns
series.
was so
It's a dramedy.
Yeah.
Like it's based around a serious situation, but it's heightened to the extreme. And I feel like Community, they're trying to make it more like happy endings or whatever
Right.
it is that these showrunners worked on prior. And I don't feel that it's working that way.
I do like
Well,
Chang
and-
Nisa.
But
It's-
I will say that I haven't been detracted from watching it. You know?
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I
no,
love
I'm-
it still. Like it's still
Yeah,
fun.
It is still good, but it's for me that show is a satire of what
Community.
sitcoms are. Like they are poking fun at and challenging what a sitcom is the whole
It's
time.
a bottle
And
episode.
especially
It's like right
yeah,
in the face,
right.
like fuck you, sitcom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and especially like the pilot is clearly Dan Harmon saying like they want me to do this, I'm gonna do it wrong. Like I'm gonna totally just shove the same bullshit at you, and you're gonna like it, but it's not gonna be right. And then when they have a whole series, he had to pull that out into a whole series, and it's brilliant. And then getting somebody who just wants to make a sitcom on there feels completely broken. Like it feels like you're taking that thing and then flipping it on its head, and it looks the same, but you don't realize like, oh, this is completely the opposite of what it was.
right.
But I still like it. But anyway, you're
I like
liking
Chang
Community.
Nisa. I think that's a good twist. But
Yeah,
where's
Chang Nisa is good.
What's the Oliver character, the drunk teacher? I miss him. He was really cool.
Oh yeah. Well, and he's probably busy.
Yeah, he's got some stuff to do.
Yeah.
Then I wasn't gonna bring it up, but since you guys talked about video games, Psychonauts was on sale on the PSN.
Oh, shit, yeah.
And I downloaded that and played the hell out of it all night long.
That's a
'Cause
good
it's,
one.
Very nice.
It's an amazing game.
Yeah.
It's one of those games that slipped under the radar.
Oh man, I'm so
yeah.
sad. And I worked
Yeah.
at GameStop, and I was like through high school. Like I've had jobs my whole life that, like Z-Spin. Like my first 16 to 18 years, I worked at GameStop, and then I worked at a movie theater for a long time. And then when I moved to over here to Denver, I worked at a food place because I was hungry. But like when I was working at GameStop, I saw Psychonauts, and I was like, I really need this. But my little sister ended up buying it, and she was like, "This is the greatest game. Why have you not played this one?" And then I saw it on sale and downloaded it, and just like I'm almost done with it. It's
Yeah.
so cool. And
That's
then do you play PS3 or is it
Yeah.
Xbox? Did you
PS3.
get the Dust beta?
No.
There's a
No.
beta out right now for PS3. If you heard of
Dust
Eve,
and Elysium Tale?
Eve Online, are you familiar with Eve Online?
Oh,
Like,
that one. Yeah.
the one that's like the space communism, or not space capitalism, space capitalism.
Yeah.
They like the online game is all about buying and trading planets and goods, but they started a PlayStation game where it's a first-person shooter, a lot like Halo, and you can be bought by those people, and you're like making experience points, but you're not on there. It's like PlayStation Home mixed with like a first-person shooter. Like you walk around your room, you get set up, and you build your character out,
Yeah.
and then it's free. And then you go online, you just battle people, and you earn money in that game. But you can also get money to buy. Say you have you buy the fancy ass gun, but you only have only 50 drop suits available with that gun. And once you hit 50, you can't get that gun anymore, so you got to go buy it again. And they give it free, but you can get like a big package with a bunch of money to like make your dude super hardcore, invincible, and just go through and just own it the game for like $9, and then
Nice.
like keep buying your stuff. But it's part of that whole EVE Online thing. So you're connected. Like you can, like my buddy Jeff, who's a cinematographer who shot Synergy, he's now like he's going to school to be a history teacher now, but like he plays the EVE Online, and like I'm part of his thing. He can like send his ships, like he put it on his computer, notice that I'm on my PlayStation, and send a ground attack from a ship to help my crew out and just take out all these
That's
people on the
awesome.
battlefield. But it's like the sweetest game, and it's free. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, I got a first-person shooter for free, and it's not even that bad.
Cool.
So I play the hell out of that one, and I'm addicted to FIFA Street. But
Cool.
yeah, I'm like Spencer. I fall asleep through a lot of movies, even though I feel like my dad does. Like there's a story in my family where my parents were like on their first date, and my dad fell asleep during the movie, and he was like, when did he shave his beard? My mom's like, that's a different character. It was like, so like when we're watching movies at home, like from when I was a little kid to like now, they're always like, when did he shave his beard? Like that's the joke. I was like, always ripping on my dad, like when he shave his beard. But I got his bad genes of falling asleep through movies. Like even though I'm a filmmaker, I can't, like if I see a movie past 9, no, even at C-SPAN, like unless it's really good, I'm out like a light. So I fell asleep through a crap ton of Criterion Collection. It took me like 4 nights to get through Trash Humpers this week.
He can be a pussy sometimes, but we try to get him out there.
I can't imagine why it would be so hard for you to get through Trash Humpers.
No.
Dude, Trash Humpers is nuts.
What is Trash Humpers?
So it was my last day of film history class, and the teacher left he was showing us a clip of Trash Humpers, which is a Harmony Korine film. If you're familiar with Harmony Korine, he was like he was 16 years old. He helped Larry Clark write Kids, and he's like the guy who plays like the E kid in Kids, like the guy who's super high on ecstasy.
Yeah, he just released Spring Breakers.
Is it out now?
Yeah.
Oh shit! That looks like that's gonna be my favorite movie of the year once I see it.
It was
Looks so good.
we
Gucci
talked-
Man's in it. How can it be bad?
there was a party for it at the film center when I went to
What
see
the
ABC's of
fuck?
Death.
It's
Yeah.
over. It's playing now.
I don't know if it might have been just like a one night thing, but it might be coming back for like a full run.
Oh
so.
man, I need to see.
We talked
that
about
movie.
this recently because I can't believe it's a real movie.
Oh, it's gonna be so
Like,
good.
No, I don't know that for sure. But I watched the trailers and I'm like, this is a movie. This is simply like girls in bikinis with guns,
Disney girls.
right? And I can't believe it's real. Like every time because when we never talked about it on the show because there was really never news, and so I brought it up once because I was like, you've seen this, right? Like this is I'm not dreaming this.
No,
This is a real thing.
even though it is dreamlike.
Yeah.
You're not, it's for everybody.
it's very weird.
But he created. I think he's a really good storyteller. Like, cause when he was 16, he was kids, and if you go, like, my favorite thing is the David Letterman's. He was on David Letterman when he was 16 when he made Kids, and he was on David Letterman when he was like 21 when he was making Gummo. I'm not sure if you've seen Gummo at all.
I know Gummo.
That's an awesome film. It's a little weird, but it's really, really good. And both times he's like tweaked out, like, hey, yeah, David Letterman. He is like, just watch the Harmony Korine on Letterman interviews. There's 2 of them, and he is. I'm not sure what he's on, or if he's just socially
Or if he's
awkward.
just crazy.
But he is the weirdest individual to watch. But he's very smart. Like Gummo's good. Then he did the Spring Breakers, and I'm not sure if you've seen Julian Donkey Boy. Werner Herzog's in it, and it's one of like, the first American Dogma films, and it's completely it's registered as Dogma. And Werner Herzog plays this dad of a kid who's schizophrenic, and is also in his family has a kid who wants to be a wrestler. And there's like this really dramatic scene where Werner like found a hose and started hosing down the kid because he wants to be a wrestler, like a hardcore Olympic wrestler. And Werner's like, real men don't shiver, and I was like just hosing this kid down. I guess the kid got real sick, but it was like so Dogma. Like Werner Herzog thought he was this kid's abusive father for like months, and like. It's an incredible film. Julian Donkey Boy is what it's called, and it's like I think it's the first American made by American director Dogma film.
Huh.
Julian Donkey Boy, but it's nutty, and it's like the Dogma rules. You got to find the props on set. So I think they found the hose and they found everything on set. And like I always want to make a Dogma film, but I feel like you have to write the script to be Dogma, and then you can't give credit to yourself as a director in a Dogma film.
Really?
Yeah, like the director's not supposed to take credit. Like it can be on the DVD for like selling purposes, but like I guess in the titles, you can't give yourself credit if you're the director. Like the director, it's supposed to be like the purest form, like only natural light. You can't give yourself credit. You can only props that you use can be found on set. Like I think the first one was like the Celebration.
Wait,
if
are you
you've seen
talking
that
about Cinema Verite?
No, Dogma. Is that the same thing? I'm not sure.
It might be because that's what I thought.
That Lars von Trier helped.
But there's another guy with it too. What was his name?
It was Lars von Trier and a couple other different people from Denmark and a couple different other areas, but they helped kind of like push forward this type of filmmaking that was more centered around what you have around you. And I'm not the biggest Lars Von Trier fan, but I will say that he is very inventive with those Dogma movies back in the mid '90s. That they're very influential in what we do. What any modern film student does is kind of around that kind of area. So
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the name of the movie's called The Celebration. And it's by Wittberg, who did it with Thomas Wittberg. He's the director who also did I think he made the first one with Lars von Trier. But it's all about like on-setness, like being like it's like super in the moment filmmaking. And I was trying to find the rules of like the Dogma thing because they're really specific. You can't do a lot of things. Like it's supposed to bind you to like the filmmaking core, like just the purest form of the art form. But it's just so strange of what it is. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, when I was taking my class, like we called it Cinema Verite, and you were in it. It's my shots video, where it's just you playing pool, and I couldn't direct you, which is why I can't take a directing credit. Like I could just film you, and it also had to be in real time. Like you couldn't edit like him shooting, the 8-ball into the beginning of the video. It all had to be in sequence and stuff. So maybe Dogma is like another version of that. Or?
It's
for the most part, you're kind of. It feels like you're on that same track, where it's just like you have to work with things around you. Some kind of.
It's a manifesto those two guys wrote that says like we are what we do, and it is a manifesto, and it basically it's like a vow of chastity. They say of filmmaking, like this is the purest form we can get, and like the goals and rules is like 1, filming must be done on location. Props and sets must not be brought in. If a particular prop is necessary for the story, a location must be chosen where the prop can be found.
Right.
And then like there's like you have to like sound must be never be produced apart from the images. Like you have to shoot sync sound on the dot. Like you can't go in and like J cut, L cut. You just have to sync that. Like you can cut that, but you have to shoot the whole thing sync sound.
That's a little bit harder for what we do nowadays because we have to try to tell like we're working with bigger budgets and whatnot, so we have to create the coverage and whatnot. But like when we're starting out, that's pretty much all you have. So you kind of create it out there.
And the camera has to be handheld. The film has to be in color. You can't use filters. You can't use ND filters if it's too sunny. You can't use anything to kind of like enhance the camera work because it's like supposed to make you think about just pure story. And like if the story's good enough, they feel like if the story's good enough, you won't be distracted by these gimmicks that other filmmakers use tonight. Like, cause we were watching Bert and I just like After Effects, like some of the stuff was amazing in there, but I could tell like, oh, they just ran that through a thing. They didn't even render it that well. Like, but there was like, it was beautiful cause I was distracted by how good the story was and how I was into the characters. But as a filmmaker, I look for those things naturally. And like, I was like, oh, I know how to do that. Like just to kind of be like, I know how to do that type of thing.
Yeah. You're just like, I know how to do this shit.
But the film must not contain any superficial action. You can't have any murders. You can't like murder someone on set. So like the story can't be like cheesy, like murder, or you can't have weapons. And then
so everything that Ryan really loved about Evil Dead is out the door.
Yeah. There's no Evil Dead in that.
The typographical and geographical elements, like if it's whatever season it is, you can't fake it. You have to like if it's winter and you're shooting inside, you gotta be like it's winter outside almost, or like I'm not sure how that rule applies, but like you can't try to fake anything in the environment. And then there's no such thing as a genre movie. It's just Dogma. You made it as a Dogma film. And the film format must be an Academy 35 millimeter, and the director must not be credited. And those are like the two last ones. It's like, by the way, you got to have money to make this. Boom.
Yeah.
You get out of the way.
Yeah. So good luck.
Yeah, Harmony Korine shot one, and it's that Julian Donkey Boy, but Spring Breakers is like complete opposite, probably with a bunch of fake guns and like.
Oh yeah.
He's done a lot of like I think Trash Humpers. Back to that one is like this is VHS film. He shot with 2 VHSs. It was kind of based off of someone I guess who lived in his neighborhood who was like these weird people. I was trying to read up on it to get more, but like 'cause I didn't know what the hell was going on. But it kind of documents this weird cult of people who get off by humping trash and just doing harmful things to the environment around them. And
it's not harmful to hump trash. It's
then they wear these weird old people masks, and it's very eerie. And they like get into some like I don't want to describe some things that go on, but like it gets pretty.
Yeah, it gets pretty.
It's hard to watch, and I think it's also a Harmony Korine's view on this digital era, like the idea of like anyone can go out and shoot a movie and on this digital stuff and get it made. And
Yeah.
like this guy did, and it's on VHS, and it's rough. And he's like, you can do this back in the day with VHS. You guys shouldn't be freaking out about this. And this is the
Yeah.
worst that could happen. Someone can release a film like this. And he's almost like, that's his comment on the digital era, I feel, is
Yeah.
Trash Humpers, because it was 2010 or 2011. I think it was 2010 it came out, or 2011. But that's like right in the peak of people's.
Right.
I think Social
when
Network came out.
when everybody was
debate.
running around going like, you can make a movie on your iPhone, like
Yeah,
I hear
like
what
there
you're
was like
saying.
the ideas of the rigs on the iPhone with little lenses
Right,
that go on.
yeah.
Shooting the whole thing on the iPhone. Like,
Yeah.
well, hope you have like 1,000 gig iPhone, because that's just gonna fill it fast. And, like,
Yeah.
hope you don't have Temple Run versions 1 and 2 and the Brave version.
Oh, the phone, they have more than one version. I've only got the one.
Dude, they just released a new one.
Of Temple Run?
Yeah,
No doubt.
yeah. It's I guess it's
So it's just like,
I haven't played
fuck
it.
I'm out. I gotta go play some Temple Run.
Right. I probably would have finished more than that Snow White and the Huntsman if I had some Temple Run to
You distract you like you did with
Yeah.
the Master. You're like,
Yeah. I'll be playing Temple Run while I watch the Master again. No, I won't.
dude.
Million Point Club, man.
Our teacher gave Temple Run as a proverbial, kind of like an idea for what a film is. Like, so you're chasing after nothing for the longest time, and you're trying to wrestle this film, this edit to the ground, and you're just going after things, collecting as much as you can, and at some point you finally end it, and that's where you start your next film. And you kind
by
of
jumping off a cliff
And
or
some
getting
films
eaten
are
by
sh-
monkeys.
some films you work longer than on the others, but like you're chasing after this,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
like nothing. Like, oh, that worked, okay. Oh, this worked, okay. And then finally you end, and that's like editing your film.
Well, I guess on that note, I wanted to ask though, what's been in the news lately, guys?
I was just gonna say, speaking of ending things, oh man,
Talk about endings and all that stuff.
Before
I guess I
that,
wanna
we have to
know.
pay some bills, so here's some words from our sponsors.
Hey, Jimmy Valentine, that was a really great game-winning score you had there at the sporting event.
Yeah, thanks. I really appreciate that. You can look for that card really soon at Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics. They got tons of sports memorabilia.
Jimmy Valentine, RKO Radio News. Jimmy, what makes Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics your favorite comic store in the Colorado area?
I'm telling you, forget about it. A comic collector like me, I can save 20% on a hold slot. Duh. Plus, it's hard for me. I'm on the road all the time. If I want the Amazing Spider-Man and I'm not around, it's in my hold slot.
Jimmy Valentine, what do you have to say about your recent allegations about steroid use?
I'm not going to answer that question, but I am going to tell you that if I want to get Magic the Gathering cards, I go to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics. The little square Jimmy Jr., he loves those. So go to 6700 Wadsworth Boulevard in Nevada, Colorado. They'll take really good care of you.
Hold on, Jimmy, one more
Jimmy,
question.
one more question,
Wait,
Jimmy.
no, don't go yet. For barbecue that can't be beat, try Birdman Barbecue Sauce. Available and original and spicy. These robust, full-flavor sauces have the awesome power to kick your taste buds in their face. And for that smoking taste on everything you eat, try new Birdman Smokin' Rub. Caution! Meat left unrubbed may suffer from flavor performance anxiety. You can pick up Birdman Barbecue at local area Ace Hardware stores, Ruff's Barbecue in Golden, and the Danny Cash Hot Shop off Broadway. You can also like us on Facebook at Birdman BBQ.
Yeah, we're back.
All right, is it time for real news now, Ryan?
Almost. First, we're going to dive into some box office numbers, guys.
Oh my God, Gator, tell us all about it.
This is the box office stats.
Oz the Great and Powerful, no surprise, $79 million at the box
Wow,
office.
Yeah.
I am actually surprised.
Big pop.
I'm
That
su-
it made that
I'm
much,
surprised
or-
it was that
In
much.
its first
It's
weekend,
good though
yeah.
because that means Raimi will get to do something else now.
Yeah.
Just like he's not banned from Hollywood now.
No, he
Well,
never
he
would
wasn't
be.
gonna be. I mean,
I
as
didn't-
as much as people don't like Spider-Man 3, like
I like
those movies make a lot of money, and
I don't
that's the
hate
bottom
Spider-Man
line.
3, but I don't love it either.
Yeah.
But Drag Me to Hell, which was like the rebirth of Sam Raimi for me. I
Yeah.
love that goat who's just like, "You're gonna die, bitch."
Yeah.
Just like this.
But I mean, and he made that money on the sly, and it still did okay.
Yeah.
So,
Oh
like,
yeah. Oh, that movie. Like the ending of that movie is so like
it's good.
it's so
Awesome.
satisfying for me because it's like fucking hey, you spit in the gypsy's face, she's gonna come and kick your ass.
Well, Sam Raimi's so great too that there's a great article where he was really deflated during Spider-Man 3 because it's not the movie he wanted to make.
No, yeah, because
And-
he didn't want to use Venom. He wanted to use Sandman solely.
Yeah, well, he wanted
Well,
Sandman
before
and the
that was
Vulture,
yeah,
Yeah.
the Vulture.
plus the new Goblin because he had this great third act where it'd be all aerial,
Right. And
Battles.
it didn't come through.
and it did come through, and he he said the thing he didn't like about doing those big movies is when he made Evil Dead or even Drag Me to Hell, he says, "Man, I need to move this table," so he would just move it. But when you're on a big movie like that, you have to have some foreman come in and move it.
Yeah, it's union.
Exactly.
It's union. It's all based around union.
Yeah, so he says that was good. Then he went and did Oz, and I'm sure it was the
They
same
do
way.
that great in my week with Marilyn, where the kid's about to move a chair, and he's just like,
Yeah.
"You can't move that chair. Why? Because that's small limit. That's small enough." And I'm just like, "That's so hilarious."
So yeah, so
But no, I respect the unions. What they
Yeah.
do.
yeah. So another big hit for Sam Raimi.
Yeah,
the man.
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're already talking sequels, of course.
Yep. That he's not going to do.
Yeah, he's not going to do.
Yeah.
He's not going to do sequels.
They're gonna
but-
remake Wizard of Oz. Shannon Woodlore, the girl from The Descendants, is gonna play Dorothy.
Shailene
now.
Woodley.
She's
I
Mary
want her
Jane.
to be in everything. Yes, I love the photos of her as Mary Jane. I love that girl. She is. She might be my screen crush right now. She's just so. She's so beautiful. She's so charming and everything.
I'm
like
glad
that.
you
I cannot
said
wait
that.
to
A lot of
She's
people
like
are
14.
pissed because they said she's not hot enough to be Mary
Oh,
Jane.
screw them!
Right?
Screw
Right?
them all.
Totally.
Spencer and I were just talking about Olivia Wilde all night. We're like, we're like making noise like.
Shannon Woodlore. I wish I could pronounce her name properly.
Straight up, I have a giant crush on Olivia Wilde. Every time I would be
Dude,
like,
if
Matt,
you're a
I'm in
dude,
love.
you have a crush on
I'm in
Olivia
love.
Wilde.
I think everybody in film world has a crush on Olivia Wilde. She's so beautiful and charming looking. Like, she's just so wonderful.
I wish she was cast as April O'Neil and not Megan Fox.
That's
Give
that's
Give
good.
her a chance. Have you watched what was it? How to Lose Friends and Alienate People? That sold me on Megan Fox as an actress. That and Jennifer's Body. I'm just like, she could do things. It's just I think she has bad directors sometimes.
Yep.
Megan's body.
Megan's
I
Body.
thought Jennifer's Body was cool, man.
I saw This Is 40 and she was funny on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's good. Speaking of this in 40s, what's
How
next?
is it?
Blu-ray releases.
Yeah.
Hot damn! I should have bought that one instead of Master, right?
Yeah.
Let's go back to my roots
Well,
and Judd.
no, that's a little unfair.
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
The Hobbit is the big one this week.
It is.
Yes.
Obviously, there's like 7 different versions of The Hobbit.
Do I get my HFR rate?
Either buy the Blu-ray with the DVD, the Blu-ray with the
Yeah.
digital copy and DVD, or the digital copy Blu-ray DVD, or the DVD Blu-ray digital copy.
That is very nicely done. That's exactly true.
And it's only that.
You should work for New Line Cinema.
And
That-
finally, Les Miserables comes
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
worst movie.
So here's what you do.
You
Here's what
didn't
you
cry when Anne Hathaway was Anne Hathaway was pouring her heart out.
No.
I
But what-
saw that clip and I was just like, she's
What you do is you get your friends together, you put that movie in the DVD player, and then you have your friends act out the play, and then hold the camera, like hold the TV over their heads, and then that's like actually seeing a good version of the movie where you can see whole characters and movement and
Like
action.
a mystery theater night.
It'd be great.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it, but like I'm a huge musical fan, but I don't know.
Me too.
Like, I guess
Yeah, me too.
I guess it's just like I wasn't a huge fan of Les Miserables to begin with, so
No,
I
it's
wasn't like,
horrible.
extremely compelled. But
It's what is horrible about that movie is not Les Miserables.
Yeah.
What is horrible, and I like King's Speech. Tom Hooper fucks that movie up.
I'll still go see it.
Oh yeah, no.
I love The
You
Damn
should check it out.
United. I'm a huge fan of The Damn United, which is a film that he did prior to The King's Speech. So I'm in for that guy all the way.
Yeah.
I want to see him. Like I guess he got tapped to do something really big recently. I can't remember what it was, but they
Yeah,
just
there's
announced
something.
Film
I
today,
can't
but,
remember.
Like something like that. I can't wait to see what he does next.
Zero Dark 30 comes out this week. So
Great movie.
which that's quick after the wide release. I mean, we only reviewed that movie like 2 months ago.
I have problems with that film, but it is a good film. But like, I feel like Jessica Chastain does nothing to inspire emotion out of me.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I had the same problem.
Yeah,
I don't care about those people.
I
Both have ice hearts.
She's
Then
a really good actress. I think she is. I'm not a huge fan of Mark Bull as a screenwriter beyond The Hurt Locker, but that film is really well written. It wasn't what I wanted. Like
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't what I was expecting.
Hurt Locker 2, Osama Boogaloo.
Yeah, I'll say this though: is that the last 30 minutes of that movie are incredible looking.
Yeah.
They're just incredible looking.
This is 40, as we mentioned, comes out this week.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all the big stuff. I didn't scroll down to see if there's a shark movie.
Or, Sasquatch's Wild Weekend, but
No. Sasquatch's Wild Weekend is out. Man, why haven't we bought that movie
because
yet?
I don't want to spend
Oh,
$16 on it.
Yeah. No, it's more than 16. It was like 22, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it sucks.
It was something stupid.
Like,
That's way too much money for
the Harry and
Sasquatch's Wild
Harrison
Weekend.
sequels when like just the kid and Harry are at home, like, dude, let's throw a house party, Harry.
No,
like,
it's
fucking do it.
It's exactly that, but then Harry starts
Dude, and
killing
Harry's
the
got to buy
girls
the
in
keg for the
bikinis.
kid, and he's like, "Do you have an ID on you?" He's like, "I'm covered in hair." Like,
I would. Oh my god, I would see that movie.
I want to see that. I want to see that. That sounds legitimately like an awesome film.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
I'll
even-
play
yeah.
the Sasquatch.
Yeah. Starring Spencer King.
If anybody here
Mexican
plays the
Sasquatch.
fans.
Look at
Or another idea is two friends invite Sasquatch over, and then Sasquatch dies, and then they have to keep Sasquatch
Oh.
the appearance that he's alive the whole weekend. Yeah, that might work too.
Aw.
And then there's have you seen the one where Sasquatch dies and his family's there, and then it finds out like a gay midget was having relations with Sasquatch?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, and then the little boy who was a friend of Sasquatch, he ends up really high on the roof, just wandering around on the roof. Yeah, man, I love that movie.
We all know the 40-year-old virgin Sasquatch. That's a sad one, but I love it.
Oh,
When you fuck that tree hole, it made me sad.
anyway, that's DVD releases. What's
Cool.
next?
Real news, dude.
Oh, that's right.
It's real news.
Man, I
These
forgot
were
about
just
that.
laid
I was about to
mozzarella
start talking
real
about
news
comics.
for you guys.
So we'll burn through the little shit first. Evil Dead 4, they are now saying Army of Darkness 2,
Yep.
which doesn't sound like a big deal, but kind of is.
No, it is because they're the guys who made Evil Dead that's coming out in April
Right.
are making Evil Dead 2. Sam Raimi is going to make Army of Darkness 2. So it's going to be two separate franchises that they're going to do because they're way different tonally.
Yeah. I'm going to like one of those more
It's
than.
like Bryan Singer's approach to the X-Men, where he can come in wherever he wants. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
And all of those are completely devoid of Glenn Campbell.
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce
Bruce
Campbell,
Campbell?
Glenn Campbell, Glenn Campbell.
No,
See,
no.
like, that
Eagles?
dude's listen, all right, I like music. Okay,
Billy Campbell's going to show up.
All this Campbell talks make me damn hungry.
Yeah. The Army of Darkness has got to have Bruce Campbell.
Oh, dude. it has
Otherwise,
to.
it's not Army of Darkness.
No, it's
so
Ash's Army of Darkness.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't understand why that hasn't happened sooner anyway, because Bruce Campbell is way more famous now than he was, even 5 years ago. Like, Burn Notice has made that guy
Burn
a
But he's
household
like,
name.
I feel like this is unfortunate. I love Bruce Campbell, but I feel like he was talking about like that Kick-Ass thing you were talking about. I was like, I think it's like an internet phenomenon. Like, I don't know. I
No.
talk to very few people when I meet outside of movies that they're really into him, but I wish that I would meet more fans.
My
like that. I
my
guess I
mom
don't.
and my mom and dad know and love Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
And they've seen Army of Darkness because I showed it to them and they said that's some silliness and don't give a shit about it.
I'm
But
really-
they love Burn Notice.
I'm
Like,
really glad. I wish I met people like your parents.
yeah,
'cause-
yeah. Well,
Army
you
of
can-
Darkness
yeah.
is my favorite movie of all time. So
Um.
I'm all up for more.
So we got a trailer for Kick-Ass 2 this week, and I only want to talk about it because I want to say how fucking much I don't want that movie to be what it is.
Oh, why? I will say this, Jim. I will say this. I don't know about the rest of the film, but Jim Carrey's doing the same thing that Nick Cage did in the first
Yes.
one, where he's making an acting choice. He's making a very clear acting choice, and I don't know. I haven't read Kick-Ass 2, the Mark Miller version, so I have no idea what to expect. I don't know if they're going to try to draw too much off of it.
Yep.
But Jim Carrey in that trailer, surprised me.
I-
He really surprised me with his characterization.
I
That
totally
last
agree
one was
with
weird.
you.
He's
Yeah.
making a very clear choice, and I want to see what that choice is going to be. Because right now, as a comic book fan, I can't pick up on it. With Nick Cage in the first one, it was Adam West. He was doing
Right.
Adam West, clearly.
I love the first Kick-Ass too.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's great.
I do too. But
He's like, switch to Kryptonite!
the so here's the thing. I agree with you totally. Like I think that's the best character in Kick-Ass 2. I stopped reading Kick-Ass 2 though because it's fucking shit. And that movie is clearly them sticking to what Mark Miller wrote. And the best things about Kick-Ass 1, I think, are places where they changed it. There are things about Kick-Ass 1 that they changed that I hate, specifically what's in the briefcase. But
Right.
but that's a different
a
thing.
minute detail in the
It's
film
one of those
in
things
film
that
world.
yeah, like for me it metaphorically means so much more what's in the comic book, But still, like, Anyway, I like the first movie. I hate the book for 2 so much, and the fact that they're sticking to it, because he goes insane, and he steps away from the cool idea of, like, what if a kid really did this, and how much would he just get beat up and have all his bones get broken and girls would still not like him. And that is what makes Kick-Ass great. And then Kick-Ass 2 is like, what if there's some crazy Russian chick who dresses slutty? And you're like, this is not, and she's a villain. Like, that's not what made this book great. So it makes me disappointed.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on. We'll skip that thing too. So something potentially huge happened this week. That
My dick was filmed.
no.
We've been waiting for this for years,
I'm
gentlemen.
I'm waiting for the setup. I finally got it.
Potentially huge. Potentially.
Laura, did you hear that?
She's laughing in the corner.
You can find it at the Vine app for. It's 6 seconds of gold.
Totally.
The
Sometimes, though, we have to extend it out to 12 seconds for Ryan.
Thank you.
It's just part 1 and part 2, to be honest.
The extended cut.
So Veronica Mars decided, like, they've decided they're going to kickstart a Veronica Mars movie, which
Hell
they've been kicking around the ideas for doing a movie for a long time. And Rob Thomas was always Rob Thomas. Rob Thomas. It is the same. Yeah.
Because everybody here takes everybody for feeling just like they do.
Yeah, God.
So they finally, like, they got everybody on board, and they're like, okay, we're gonna do a Kickstarter. They asked for $2 million, and they got it in 12 hours.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
That's what we need to do.
Hold on,
Goddamn.
hold on.
But Maddie,
it
Maddie,
keeps-
we didn't make Veronica Mars.
Yeah, that's the thing, and it keeps going because they are now at $3.4 million, and there are 27 days left to go.
If we
so-
donate $1 million, do you think we could be in the movie, guys?
The only people. Oh, it's less than $1 million. It's somewhere around $1,000 or $10,000. I think you get to be in the movie.
Jeez, will they take a check?
I would love to be in Veronica Mars. But I'd like to be the one guy who's just, like, in the background, not really knowing what Veronica Mars is.
I think
Because the next Sweet 16s by MTV are going to be like 8 Veronica
Actually-
Mars TV show episodes. Like, my dad got me in Veronica Mars for it. You paid $10,000 to get me in this movie.
$10,000 actually. Yeah,
Why isn't my trailer big enough, Daddy?
you get a speaking role at $10,000. There was one, and it's gone.
Oh, okay.
So what's interesting about this is that, and of course they have immediately gone and talked to all of the guys who made, like Brian Fuller, who made Pushing Daisies, and
He
what's his
better-
name? Who,
Oh, Dave used to work on Pushing Daisies, and he did a couple really great episodes in season 2. And that show was so impactful. Growing up, I was just like, I
Yeah.
want that show to come
That show was
back
great.
in some form. It's a great story.
Sean Levy, who created Terriers, which was one of my favorite canceled shows of the last few years. Of course, they've talked to all these guys because they're like, what does this mean? And potentially what it means is that, 8 years ago or whenever it was that Firefly got canceled, you could immediately go to fans and say, hey, let's not let this die.
It all comes
and
back to that moment where Troy was just like, we're going to fake Troy's suicide, or Abed's suicide, to look like a protest for the cancellation of Firefly. We're going to get that show back on the air for you, buddy.
Exactly.
So this is what it's come
and
to.
Yeah, and it means
It's
that
Abed's dream come true.
it gives audiences agency in a way that I don't think we've ever had, because it actually allows for filmmakers who have made something that's good that for whatever reason doesn't fit into what Hollywood or whatever or the studios expect for it to be. It allows audiences to go like, no, this was special and good, and I loved this, and I'm going to make sure that this keeps going. It gives us one more way to actually vote for what's good, because nobody's actually paying attention to what I watch. I don't have one of those ratings boxes in my house, so I think this is potentially huge and could. This was going to happen. Everybody knew when Kickstarter happened, like something like this was going to happen, but. This 10 years from now, we might still be talking about this.
Well, before Red State, Kevin Smith was like, he wanted to do the same thing. He was
Right.
talking on Smodcast with Scott Mosier and saying, like, what if we just got all the fans who really want, my movie to get made, ask them
Yeah.
for $1? Like, I have 2 million Twitter fans. That's all I need.
Yeah.
And then some asshole was like, tweeted him, like, oh, Kevin Smith's begging for people who helped him make his movie, and
Right.
they felt like a
And I really hope that he gets to. I hope with the first thing that I heard of with Veronica Mars, the first thing I thought was, this has to mean that Clerks 3 is on our way now because
it is.
He's going to see that. And I know it's been on the way. Like, I heard the podcast that he did with Smodcast with Ralph Garman and Mosier. And I love that, like, this means we're so close. Because I grew up loving Clerks, the mythology of it so much that I want to see that film happen so bad. Like, I'll find a way to donate money to that. Like, that's a worthy cause to me.
He recently tweeted, like, him actually beginning the script. So
he showed the first page.
Yeah, the first page. Well, the first page is the title page, but still.
Nerdgasms. We're just like, oh god.
Yeah,
and he wants to like self-finance it. He doesn't want to reach out, but he's like they found a way to do it with their own money.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I mean, 2 years ago when they were just kicking it around, like they could have beat Veronica Mars to the punch, but it's just like it was naysayers, the Hollywood mentality of like, no, we make the movies,
Yeah.
It seems like even
audiences
in the
can't.
internet, his fan base it has its limitations or something. But I'd like to think that would have been the one that broke the mold. Like,
Yeah.
I wish that would have been the case.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Red State and stuff like that. But,
I think what's kind of cool about this is that this has been this sort of pipe dream that people have talked about for years, in much in the way that like Serenity was and a Serenity 2 would be, where people all thought like, wouldn't it be cool? And no one really believed it would ever happen. We would see the news every now and then, and I got to the point where I would see the news and I would go, "Ha, that's funny," and then I wouldn't even read the article because I was like, "There's no reason for me to waste time on this. This movie will not happen." And finally, they were like, "No, we have the time, and there are people out there who have the money." And what's cool is like that there is now $1.4 million more than they thought they needed that they can just put into that movie being even better. Like if you are a fan of the show, even if you don't have any money to help, like you should go watch the Kickstarter video because they get a bunch of the actors and stuff together, and it's really funny and well made, and it pokes fun at the show in great ways. But they even joke in there like, any money above that $2 million, that's all of our like car chase and nudity fund. Like the more we get, the better this movie's gonna be. I think this is potentially huge. As with everything that happens awesome on Kickstarter, next week everyone will have their movie on Kickstarter and it'll get flooded, and then you'll be like, okay, some movies it'll work and some it won't, but this I think could be huge.
Agreed.
Anyway, that's news.
Well, you also forgot the dude who directed Safety Not Guaranteed is directing Jurassic Park 4.
Yeah.
That I'm in full support of.
Me
'cause
too.
Safety Not Guaranteed was the most non-cynical film I saw last year, and I loved it. Like it made me feel so happy walking out. And I feel like if he handled sci-fi that well on like an emotional, quirky level, like I
He
want
could
to
do
see.
it.
Imagine what we give him with that canvas. But
Oh yeah.
and plus, I'm glad they're giving it to somebody as unique as him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that's a very unique choice, and I'm glad that they're reaching out like that to that community. Like there's a guy who's he's a director. He did a film called Supporting Characters. His name is Dan Schechter. He's a wonderful filmmaker. I had the pleasure to meet him at Stars, but he did a film recently. I guess he was tapped to do something like with Elmore Leonard, and I thought that was just a great like choice to like get him something like that on board. So
I think it's interesting because like I love Joe Johnson, I really do, but picking him for a Jurassic Park 3 was clearly like your besties with Steven Spielberg, and you can sort of mimic Steven Spielberg to some extent, and I think that's why he's on that movie. Again, I say that I love Joe Johnson, I do. So I do think it's interesting that they're going to go a little bit of a different way. Mark Duplass was actually on the Kevin Pollak's chat show this week, and on there he was talking about making that movie because Mark Duplass obviously is in it, but he's a producer as well. And he said that what's sort of interesting that's happened to him is he's become somebody that they'll kind of want him to be in a movie or want him to help produce a movie, because he's also director. And so when somebody like that guy is directing a movie, he can sort of be the second man and go in and be like, okay, I know why you're thinking what you're doing, but what if we also did it this way? And so he's sort of also kind of the second director on that movie, or at least the big brother to kind of teach that guy like
acting?
even when he's acting, like just because he is on set and because he's a producer on that movie, like the part of the reason why he is so involved and was so involved in that movie was because they wanted him to sort of like kind of be that guy's big brother and show him like, okay, these are the kind of things that I have learned from making movies and making movies clunkily sometimes and having to figuring this stuff out on my own. Like these are wisdoms that I can impart on you. And so I think, a Jurassic Park movie from that guy might be really cool.
Hopefully he doesn't cast Audrey Plaza. I mean, if she does, give that girl some Prozac. I feel real bad for her.
Oh,
She's so
I think she's way happier.
Sam Neill.
She's so sad.
Yeah, totally.
That
Dr.
dude
Alan Grant.
rocks.
So
I don't know,
sad.
man. I don't know if I want Sam Neill back.
You're about what?
Of course
Do
you
I-
did. You
I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know if I want any of those characters back.
What the
Jeff
world needs is
Goldblum.
Goldblum, sweet
Goldblum.
Goldblum.
Really? I might be ready for just like, tell me a different story. Yeah,
Jeff Goldblum.
introduce me.
Dude, I love Ted and Eric's $1 billion
Love Tim
movie.
and Eric.
Like,
Did you hear about what's going on with the studios now trying to like we saw Burt Wonderstone today. They released it yesterday at 10 o'clock. So
Right.
studios are trying to release their early releases like Wednesdays at 7 now.
yeah.
Because they're just trying to boost ticket sales, and I think they're trying to get away from midnight screenings.
Well, and they did that. They did that.
After Aurora, the midnight screening kind of died.
It's not profitable.
It's not dead, but it's
It's profitable, but I think they can get more money
Right.
if they start at 7 for an early
Oh,
or
yeah.
like 10. Like it's smarter and it's also a little safer, but like it's just,
man.
why not give us a movie earlier? I'm
yeah,
happy
I
about
agree.
that.
Transformers: Dark of the Moon. No, Transformers: Fall of the Legend, whatever the second one's called. Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen was one where.
I'm not a fan. I just know that 'cause
Yeah.
it was the biggest 2.5-hour waste of my life.
Yeah, I like that movie. So no, I'm just
Me too.
That movie was supposed to release on a Friday, and then the next Friday was Harry Potter. So they pushed it forward, or maybe 2 Fridays later was Harry Potter. They pushed it forward to Wednesday, and then did early evening releases on Tuesday. So I saw that
when it came
movie.
out.
Yeah, I saw that movie at 7:00 on a Tuesday, and it was supposed to release on Friday. Like that. That shit is crazy now.
Yeah.
Um,
So this Wednesday, 7 o'clock for their new like early release.
Yeah,
You guys ready?
Create buzz.
yeah.
Means we can get done with our fucking gym PE class at 3 o'clock and head over and camp out until 7.
Totally.
See the new Star Wars. This is gonna come out like at 10 o'clock on a Monday morning. Like at that time, with the inflation of early movie times, and I think speaking of Jurassic Park, dude being the dude, he wasn't as groomed as much as I think
Mark
Hollywood
Duplass?
tried to groom J.J. Abrams to be the Star Wars dude. Like, I think,
Oh, yeah.
I think they kind of just was like, well, no one liked Jurassic Park 3. We'll give it to that
Yeah.
dude because he got a good.
Ah.
He sold some tickets. Well, I think we can trust this guy.
There's
Yeah.
some
But like they groomed J.J. Abrams. The Illuminati is like, who's going to make the next Star Wars? And they're like,
Yeah.
They
The
spent hours
Illuminati?
burning names and hats until they
Yeah.
finally came up with J.J. Abrams. Like, okay, let's start today. And that was like 17 years ago.
Let's give him
and
Star
meanwhile,
Trek.
and meanwhile, Tom Hanks
exactly.
is looking for clues as to what Maddie's talking about.
we'll give him all the
Let's give
star
him,
thing.
let's give him Star Trek first because that's been shit on enough that nobody will notice if he fucks it up. But if he gets it right, man,
We can give him Star Wars.
I didn't know J.J. Abrams like the way he uses light flares until
Yeah.
I watched Super 8, and I was like, well, this is a little
Oh, yeah.
excessive. Dude.
Right.
You
I
should
thought
fire
it
your
was
editor.
lens flare the movie, man.
yeah,
It was
no,
awesome.
there's a whole thing on Star
Cloverfield.
Wars about it where he literally has a guy with a flashlight standing in front of the camera go meh, just
It has to be.
no, he
On
does.
Star Trek, he was like going.
Yeah, on
back
Star
and forth,
Trek,
yeah, going back.
he has a guy who's shining a light into the camera just out of frame to get that flare.
That was probably some really anal retentive DPUs. Like, it's not right. Shake your hand a second faster. Like, some
Oh no!
crazy German
J.J.
guy.
Abrams can't have anal DPs because like when he needs stuff, he just hits the side of the camera and stuff like that. He's
man.
yeah, he's very hands on.
I thought that was really cool though because it made you because space is pretty bright. I'm sure.
Right.
It worked
Yeah.
for that movie, but it
I-
did
yeah,
not
I
work
like
for
them.
Super 8.
He only did
it's
it
not
a couple
that
times.
yeah,
in
it's not
Super
that
8.
big in Super.
I do
8.
like the story Super 8, so I wasn't like
You,
too worried
you did
about
it
that
just
part.
enough that you knew that he was directing.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah,
this
like-
is my favorite thing to do, you guys. Bip.
It happens and it pops you out and you go, oh right, I'm in a J.J. Abrams
Exactly.
movie, and
Like
then,
Scorsese
which
does
is a problem. but-
crime. Kubrick does like cool 0-point perspective. J.J. Abrams shows a flashlight in the camera.
No, that's
Everyone-
unfair. That's
Everyone's
so
got their
unfair.
shtick.
Psh,
I make Spencer a Mexican.
That's not true. He also keeps a lot of secrets.
Yeah, he's good at that too.
Nice.
Yes.
Which we also Damon Lindelof came out about that and talked about like why they're doing that, and I think it's fascinating because he basically said like the characters in the movie don't know who this villain is. Why should you? Like that's a totally paraphrased, but like
I love
he
David,
wants.
I love David Lindelof and I respect him, but I want to ask this one question: how does that explain Prometheus?
Wow! No, let's not have that fight. Let's not have that fight.
You're about
anyway.
78 podcasts too late, Z.
Yeah, you did.
I listened to the back episodes for a reason.
So, where are we now?
move
We
on.
need
Comic book news.
to talk about the comic book you read this week.
We do. So, Cora gave us The Boys, and you read it last week and didn't care much for it. And I read it this week, and I see what you were saying. First of all, I really love Preacher, which is the Garth Ennis book that made him really famous, and I sort of think also made him think that being wild and crazy is what makes him famous, and he has really taken on to that, and that's a big part of who he is as a writer now, I believe. And this book, I'm really interested in The Boys, and I think I will keep reading it beyond this because I think the idea of it is so cool.
I think so too.
Like, what they are trying to do is great. The problem is the Garth Ennis-ness of it is what I hate. The just trying to be like gross and trying to be offensive part of it is what I think is very distracting. I think he also just gets off on the wrong foot. The whole idea of like he doesn't just ease you into the story, like he just dumps exposition on you and introduces these characters in really clunky ways, and that it makes it tough to read.
Yeah.
Like Preacher
agree.
Preacher doesn't do that at all. Like Preacher, it's just a guy who walks out of the desert and then story starts happening, and that is very interesting. But here, he's got so much stuff to tell you to set all this stuff up so that he can start being like gross and showing you crazy stuff. That it gets in its own way, and the characters say fucking cunt and all this stuff and use dialogue in horrible ways or dialect I should say in horrible ways, and that I think is annoying.
I think the art was really distracting too.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I don't think the line art is bad. I think the digital painting is what's bad.
Really?
I think the fact
their
that
bodies were uneven a lot of times.
sometimes I can forgive that. Like in indie, it's for Dynamite. It's an indie artist. Like he's not going to be the best every single frame. I can't expect everybody to be, George's Jaunty.
Is it computer or hand drawn these days? Like what was that like?
It's going to be
it's process. I know
it's going to be
programs for that now too.
Yeah, it's going to be hand drawn, but then it's going to be it is clearly it's going to be scanned in the computer and then it's clearly painted in the computer. Okay. And that's and so it looks very airbrushed.
So they colored it afterwards. It was all done.
Yeah. So the coloring is done in the computer and it looks airbrushed because of it. Yeah,
I think too.
I mean, it doesn't look as bad as like Hack Slash. Like sometimes Hack Slash Man looks like some kind of weird internet, like just garbage fan art.
I think too. It might be my problem too because my favorite artists are obviously John Romita and like Sal Buscema, so they're really clean.
Yeah,
and so that really, I don't know, that art like that really annoys me.
Yeah. I'll say this: The Boys is way more interesting than the Rocketeer Hollywood Horror, which I could not even finish the first issue of.
Really?
I'm going
Everyone
to
else is saying
because I have
it's
to.
good.
No.
Do they stare?
No. The last one they said was good. The one that I didn't like, which was Cargo of Doom. Hollywood Horror. The iFanboy review of Hollywood Horror is just horrible. Like
IGN
it's
gave
mean.
it like a 9.3.
IGN doesn't know what they're talking about.
Dude, it's 9.3 is better than 9.2. So
Oh, good.
you don't know
I haven't checked
That's
IGN
very
since
true.
they put Xbox in front of PlayStation on the cross media bar, and I'm like,
Right.
you know what? You just betrayed me, IGN. I'm gonna go to some other thing from now on.
right?
The
I listen to Slash Film because fuck IGN.
I love The Rocketeer, and I want somebody to treat that book right. They chose completely the wrong artist. It's all like cartoony.
Yeah, that guy who does that art is a big Paul Dini artist.
Cool. And here's
did,
the thing: it's great art. It's great art for any other book.
Yeah, he did the I can't remember. It's a Mutant Texas book.
Oh yeah,
He's the
I
same
remember
artist
hearing
from
about
there,
that. And it's not very well written in the story they're telling me. That's the worst part of it. Like I don't give a shit about what they're telling me, and the worst part is that it's narrated by a character that Secord runs into on the first page, and then has seemingly no impact on the rest of the story. And the narrator like has these funny little quips and stuff like that. Like I'm supposed to give a shit about this narrator. It completely doesn't understand what's cool about the Rocketeer.
It's not cool like the Frosty Snowman one.
Fuck you to
Yeah, that's and so that's what I'm saying. The Boys is better than that. So if you have heard us talk about The Boys and you think it's cool, you should go to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics and pick it up there where you can get it like 20% off. Isn't that
Yes.
And those boys stare. Let's be honest.
cool? Yes. Yeah, actually, some of the boys do stare. There's a girl,
I
too.
think they just look hard.
You'll find all kinds of staring over at Colorado Coins and Comics.
That sweet ass comics, that is.
Yeah.
Staring at all the delectable Batman issues and all the
Selectual.
selectual.
All right.
So this week we went and saw The Incredible Burt Wonderstone. Now at this point of the podcast, boys, we asked people if they should go see The Incredible Burt Wonderstone. Should people go see The Incredible?
Hi,
Burt
this is
Wonderstone?
Spencer Kane, and yes, the frick, you should see Burt Wonderstone. That movie was awesome. I love that movie.
You have
Yeah.
all the wonderful energy of Gene Shalit in his prime.
Hey,
guys, come in and see Burt Wonderstone. It's a magical time.
Bye. Zach, should
you.
people
Zach?
go
I'll be
see?
Happy Gilmore if you don't boogie loose or whatever. I don't know. That was a funny critic joke.
Zach, should people see Bert?
I think that that film is very like indicative of this kind of like these films, like these Jim Carrey films that we grew up with earlier on. They're just wacky, and they're wacky without with any purpose or reason or rhyme. They're just wacky for the sake of being wacky. But I loved Steve Carell's performance in that film, just playing an utter asshole.
Yeah.
That was like I did not expect that from any trailer. So yes, I would say go for Jim Carrey and Alan Arkin. Stay for Steve Carell's performance. It is absolutely, to borrow a phrase from How Did This Get Made, bananas. Like it is a funny performance that you don't expect out of Steve Carell. I never expect him to play an asshole, and he did it so well.
And I like the fact that Jim Carrey dressed up like Zach Wilde. You guys know who Zach Wilde is from Black Sabbath?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he looks just like him. And
Matt?
that's cool.
Dude, 100%. I'm a stickler for movies, but this was a good time. I legitimately had fun. I was also raised on Jim Carrey, and like I think what was the last one? I didn't see Mr. Popper's Penguins. Like that was like
No one did.
2011. I checked out 30 Rock before he was on there. Like I know he had a little appearance on there. I haven't seen that yet, but like the first time I saw him since like for a long time. I knew he was in I knew he was in Leap Year as a little small part.
Oh,
too,
you didn't see Yes Man?
I saw Yes Man. That was the last time I
Oh.
saw him, and
All right,
I
dude.
liked that one. That was
cool. I like
but this one was in Yes Man. He was like still a leading man, but he wasn't as goofy.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't
Yeah.
the Jim Carrey that I loved. That grew
Yeah.
up on. Like
It seemed like they didn't give enough room for him to do things. In the
But
other
I feel like the writing was so like, dude, what you're doing in the screen or in this scene is so crazy that you don't even need to do anything. You just do what's in the scene. It's already ridiculous enough. You just be cool.
classic Jim Carrey, really good. And Steve Carell, I think did a good job, and Steve Buscemi did a great job. Olivia Wilde's hot as
Steve.
hell, and like I don't know, it was structurally sound. Like I was going over Save the Cat this morning. If you've read, if you're a screenwriter, the book Save the Cat by Blake Schneider, he wrote Blank Check, and he has this little formula for how a feature film should be broken down, and is like the editing and like the way they paced that movie. I thought it was really clever, and I just like there was a little funny After Effects gags that I saw in there. Like I'm a stickler for on-screen magic because I'm a magician myself.
Dude, on-screen magic, that was so
And I
much
was like,
fun.
I hate on-screen magic. Like, I don't like the Prestige, but like this was like, I was like, oh yeah, this is like, I don't care because they're using it as a joke. They're not using it as like, oh look how cool we are with our special effects.
Yeah.
Like, you know how much I paid for that trick? Like, but this one was like, they put a puppy in Steve Carell's pants. It's great, great film.
Yeah.
When that
What
bird
about
came
you?
out of the salt glass.
Oh yeah, he's like,
Yo,
he's
yeah.
like,
I deboned that
so
bird.
good.
Yeah. I totally agree. And it's funny because earlier this week I was thinking about I feel like anymore all of the like comedies that are straight up comedies that we get are all these sort of raunchy, my mom would call them dude humor comedies.
Like The Hangover.
Yeah, like and I like those movies. I do, but there is room somewhere for a PG-13 comedy. And
Was that movie
something
PG-13?
it was, and
Didn't feel
something
like
that like right, there's like they are very careful with what they do, and it's still really funny, and it's genuinely funny without having to do any of that stuff. So yeah, I absolutely think that people should go see it.
I agree, Brad. I had fun at this movie. Brad, should people see it?
Yeah, it's the most fun I've had in a movie this year so far.
Oh,
People should
man.
absolutely
it's
seen
high,
it.
It's high concept comedy that works, and when it works well, I mean, I looked like I've stopped looking at Rotten Tomatoes because it ruins movies for me. I went to go see Die Hard based off of Rotten Tomatoes. I was like, well, how bad can this movie really be? Well, then I found out. But you know, I've learned that sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. So when I went into this one, I looked at it, it said 47%. I walked out of that movie and I didn't understand where that 47% was coming from.
I think the movie was a little misunderstood by people because there's little moments in the movie that, I mean, we were all laughing at, but no one else in the theater was laughing at.
Yeah.
We were all laughing way before everyone else was like, oh yeah.
There's some quality.
That poster is truly misrepresented. I mean, we can do spoilers, right? Spoilers.
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
No.
Actually, we haven't done the trailer yet.
I
So,
don't want people to spoil this one though. This one's good. Like,
well, here's the thing. We've talked about it now and told
And
people
then
to
you
go
do
see
the
it.
trailer.
We're gonna do the trailer, and then after that, we can just chat about what we liked and what we didn't like, and that way, people who have seen the movie, they can be like, oh yeah, that
I'll
too.
just say this though: it's a dark comedy. For
Yeah.
what it is, that film was mismarketed to me the same way Inglourious Bastards was, which was a man on a mission movie, and it turned out to be a movie really about a girl who really loved, who wanted to blow up a cinema and blow up Nazis in it. Like that's what that movie's about. It just happens to have a man on a mission group.
Yeah. All right, cool. Real quick, trailer.
Listen to me, Bert. Nobody likes you. Nobody will ever like you.
Welcome to the amazing world of magic.
Wow.
Everyone loves a magician, and they'll love you too.
Do you want to be my partner? More than anything.
I'm Bert Wonderstone.
And I'm Anton Marvelson.
But of course, you already knew that.
Your ticket sales suck.
What?
Steve Gregg, they're calling him the future of magic.
This guy's a magician. He doesn't even have a costume.
I'm sure you've seen people walk on red-hot coals, but I doubt you've seen anyone spend the night on red-hot coals.
I'm sexy and I know it. You need to do something fresh.
So this is where old entertainers go to die.
Mm-hmm. And some not so old.
May I see that for a minute?
Watch this. What have you done?
I'm a magician. Should have explained that to you earlier. You're Rance Holloway. I had your magic kit as a kid.
I'll give you your money back. What you're feeling right now, that's why you became a magician.
How did you do that?
It's partially deboned.
What you do is not magic.
It's natural for a dying leaf to be frightened by the autumn wind. Your skin makes me cry.
We need some sort of grand illusion.
You and Bert Wonderstone plan to stay in the box an entire week?
It's only been 20 minutes.
This is the best trick ever.
For 12 days, he's held his urine.
What is going through your mind?
I really have to pee, Richard. It's time for my final disappearing act.
Where did he go? He has gone to a better place. Goodbye, Rance.
He's under the bed.
I know.
I loved the character beats that Steve Carell had in it that were not in the trailer. Where you go,
his crying was amazing.
Yeah, that was so funny. And even when he was a kid, he did that.
Yeah. When he does it as a kid, we don't know what to make of it. Like I don't know if he's peeing his pants or.
Like, are we supposed to be laughing at this?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was that?
I don't want to disappoint Ryan because I don't want to be a nerd in front of him. So I'm just like.
What was that one scene? I forget what it was about. He was sitting in the chair and he's like looking it up. Oh, it was his financial guy. And he delivers this one line that's
Like, I don't have any money.
he says something like, because it's this. Yeah, it's like this really big serious scene where Brad Garrett's playing his financial advisor. He says, "We spent $75,000 on sheets," and he says, "I don't have any money." And it doesn't make his delivery doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it just works in the movie. And I'm a big fan of like the hotshot movies and Airplane and stuff like that. And I think a lot of times movies like that don't exist anymore. Where this movie, I think, had it where these magicians are like in their own world and everybody else is.
He literally.
else is stupid.
I like the character flaw of him being stuck in the hotel for such a long time and only be knowing to do what stuff happens. In,
Yeah.
like, he's like,
Oh, yeah.
get those. And he puts the plates outside.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think they cut a lot out. That they probably filmed a lot showing that he was stuck in a hotel. Like,
Yeah.
They probably have a lot of lead scenes on that. But like,
Yeah.
I felt I think they'll get it. And like, we totally got it that he was living in a bubble when they said that. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, he
Right.
totally was. He was living in the Bellagio for a while.
Yeah.
And it does take these weird turns that you're right. They didn't sell the movie right because right away at the beginning, where they're in their cool abracadabra moment, and it comes off. He's like, "You're fired. You be the new Nicole," and they dress that girl and put her out there because he doesn't care. And
That was a great
Yeah.
twist of that. I'm mad when trailers give away their stories and give away like their best jokes. And
Yeah.
Burt Wonderstone definitely saved. They had a smart marketing campaign on their part by not maybe as smart as they could have reached an audience, because I think it would be enjoyed by a lot of audiences, but like
Right.
they did a good thing by not.
They just sort of sell it as like, hey, this is Jim Carrey and Burt and Steve
Carell. It
Carell
was a
being funny. Come
good
see
and bad
that,
thing, 'cause
and
they-
you don't realize like how much they are leaving out of that trailer.
Well, there's
Yeah.
even the
Like
part
all
where
of
they
Steve
fall out
Buscemi.
of the hot box, and Steve Buscemi's both his ankles are broken, and he broke his his ribs. He's like, he's like, "You'll be okay. We don't know that yet."
We don't know that yet. That's the writer.
And that's John Francis Daly, from Freaks
Yeah.
and Geeks. And he's
Yeah.
just like, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I broke 2 ankles. You're so selfish.
It's just moments like that, and we haven't even touched on how like great Jim Carrey is, because one of the things I love about Jim Carrey, as you mentioned, is you miss him being goofy.
Yeah.
Because and being physical, and I don't know, because he's obviously playing Chris Angel.
Yeah.
But
and in a way where like about halfway through the movie I felt like suddenly I don't give a shit about magic, but halfway through the movie I was like, he's right. Chris Angel's a shitty magician. Like this is garbage. Come on. Like for some reason I suddenly felt like I was on the inside of magic, where I understood like how people really felt about magic. And the movie is not concerned with being some in-depth look at that, but still they do a good job at that.
It's taking as much pot shots as possible. What I found funny was that does anybody remember the Deadpool with it was the fifth Dirty Harry film, but Jim Carrey's in it and he plays a rock and roll star. That's what this performance reminded me of, is if they give that character his entire own subplot. And that was so brilliant to me, because one of the elements of the show is that this Chris Angel character, his name is Steve Gray, and he has this show called Mind Rape.
Yeah,
Brain
Rapist.
Rape. And just
Brain Rapist, and the hashtag was rapist.
No, the hashtag was just rapist.
To me, the effect of that show name doesn't come in until Jim Carrey says the word brain rape. I'm like, wow, this is not the Jim Carrey I grew up with. He's saying the word brain rape.
How great was
this is where my childhood dies.
How great was the delivery by who was his name who plays Tony Soprano?
James Gandolfini.
Oh yeah.
When he's introducing like the big magic show at the end, and he's like about to introduce the Jim
we have a
Carrey's
big
character.
magician.
Prepare to have your brains raped, I guess. And then
yeah.
And they even play at the end of it. They always say a magician never reveals his secrets, and they reveal how they do their big magic trick at the end. It's
that last shot of the movie, and it's spoilers alert to everybody who's listening.
Because
to the
because it's
podcast.
the funniest thing in the movie.
Yeah, so they're showing how they do this disappearing audience trick, and it's a great trick. It's basically they drug the entire audience to get them out of the auditorium, and they show them dragging them by their limbs, dragging them like their heads are bumping into shit.
Yeah.
And the last shot, and I saw this and I love this. It's just Chinese man waking up going, huh? And then it's just Steve Carell closing a truck door. It's like, that's so dark. How did you get away with that in a PG-13 movie?
Yeah,
It's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
It's just an Asian man.
It was like every single shot of that. Just the way that the guys would pick up a person or throw a person around was so like just treating them like sandbags. It was just hilarious.
Like it's like they've been doing it every night on the job. type
yeah,
of thing.
no, exactly. Yeah, where they're just like, it doesn't really matter. If I just drag this guy by his pant leg, he'll make it all the way.
And
These pants are sturdy.
And they were carrying 2 or 3 bodies at once. They're like,
Yeah.
"I'm just gonna. He's in the way."
And the next time I sleep with a chick, I'm gonna give her an autographed 8x10 of me.
Yeah, where she's photoshopped into
The green screen you have built in your closet.
Oh, and that's such a
That's
and it's such a slow burn because like
Yeah.
he does that whole thing where he's got this green room and he takes these pictures of her and is like pretend like you're hugging a giant pumpkin and you're like what the fuck is going on, and then you see the picture and you're like oh that's kind of brilliant.
And like the airplane gags I was talking about, they're going up to, well, you don't find out. There's a great reveal where she's like, "Oh, I love your place." He's like, "This isn't my place. This is my place."
And Julia Jacobs is so brilliant because she's like, "Oh wow, oh wow."
Oh, yeah.
She's
No,
so
she's
fancy,
great.
blonde so well.
Yeah.
Just like she's a genius in
Yeah.
everything she does.
And
I think the writing was clean too because there was plants and payoffs. Like they'd plant
Yeah,
that thing at the
exactly.
midpoint. Like the midpoint was him having the realization that his friend was better off, and he did not feel like that same
Bringing up
compassion
magic.
for him. Yeah, in
Yeah.
Cambodia, giving away magic to kids, and the kids they're trying to eat the magic box.
So you brought them food and clean water. No, I'm a magician. I brought them magic.
That's not my thing. I do magic.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
That's
it's great.
Great line in the diner, and they're just like, "Yeah, it turns out that they didn't want magic; they just wanted food and water."
Yeah.
Food and clean water.
But there's things.
Poor them.
There's things that are planted in the very beginning that are paid off at the end. Like the whole conflict being refined is I thought it was
Yeah.
very very clean. They probably did a lot of drafts and. I was thoroughly impressed. Like it's been a long time since I saw a comedy that I was like, I can see this again.
Yeah.
there's
for sure.
What was the last thing you saw prior to that?
Like literally like a hot rod or knocked up back like in high school.
Yeah.
That's the last time I was that entertained. Like
there's
that time I had that feeling.
There's
That was the last time you had
great like throwaway gag too, where we all laughed really hard. Is when Jim Carrey goes to the bar with all of them. And he's leaving, and all of a sudden he just like floats away.
Oh my god! You're right. I'm sorry. That was the funniest thing in the movie.
Funniest part though, and then the dude barfing, he's like, "Ugh, yeah!" Like that was
Right.
clean too.
Well, and because like that's what I kept expecting. Like when Jim Carrey was starting his shtick, because the whole Chris Angel thing is like, look, he floats in public. Like
I
how
forgot
crazy
about
it
the
is.
floating. That
so,
was hands down
so
the
yeah,
funniest
like
part.
that moment where he just lifts up about 2 inches, rotates, and just bubbles out of the room, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, they totally had him on a dolly
It was-
track, and they're pulling him. He was like
Oh,
swerving
yeah.
his
Oh,
hips
yeah,
around.
yeah.
It was
No, no.
beautiful. It was so good.
Yeah,
They
he
don't
could have
even
been on
extend
roller
it out to
skates.
just the medium shot of him. They cut to another angle of another guy, and they just show him going.
It's just
Like,
ridiculous.
that's incredible. They kept 2 shots on him. That's incredible.
And that is all of this without us saying anything about Alan Arkin.
Yeah, and Alan Arkin.
Who is
Lord? Oh,
just
just about to get his Alan Arkin boner going.
Oh man,
I'm sorry. I'm grabbing the mic from him because I fucking love Alan Arkin.
and he's
doesn't.
great in
I've been
this.
obsessed with Alan Arkin recently because of Argo. Because I'm
Yeah.
thoroughly convinced that the only way that any man at the age of 60 can walk into a room confidently is if they have a turtleneck and a dress suit specifically catered to what Alan Arkin wore in Argo. Because that's the only way you can walk confidently and say the word space bitch and not get thrown out of the room. Keep that
Oh,
fucking
man.
space switch away from me.
Oh man, he's so good, and like everything from when he first shows up on the VHS tape, which, by the way, man, their version of the '80s is
Planted
maybe
payoff. Am I right? It planted it. The first thing you've seen, pay it off.
right. No, because the VHS player, like their version of the '80s, is better than most like period pieces. Like the way they set up. Just the first time I saw a shot, and you could see like there was this wood railing, and it was unpainted wood, and I was like, this looks like Roseanne. like it really.
Kid Steve Buscemi might be the coolest looking kid I've ever seen in my life.
Yes, with that
I
huge
was
nose, like went
that's
from
the
his
best
forehead to his
casting.
chin.
It's like, I want to work with that kid. I want to make
Yeah.
a movie about that kid. Like those kids,
Yeah.
like it's hard to get a performance out of children, and they got some great
Yeah,
kids
they were
at the
good.
beginning.
They were really good. Yeah.
And as an actor, I was noticing that straight away. I'm like, dude, I tried acting as a kid, and I didn't get it. I was like, what? But
his
now
kids were
as
solid.
an older person, as a full grown-ass man, now I'm like, oh, I
Like-
understand now.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, I'm making pretend. I understand. I got it. Yeah.
Exactly. You just pretend who it is. And
What's
then,
that? Unforgiven's a good movie, but I hate Clint Eastwood's kids in that movie. I'm like, those are
Oh,
the
yeah.
worst kid actors. I would take away that Oscar because the kids sucked that bad. Like, this movie was every bit of acting
Yeah.
was good. Like even
Yeah.
side roles, like Olivia Wilde, like that was all so good.
Yeah. Well, and like Alan Arkin on that
Sexy
VHS
voice.
tape You know, where he's doing like every time the VHS tape is in the movie, and he's like, you know, doing magic and talking about magic, and he's got that funny little painted on mustache. Oh, he's
pencil
great.
thin mustache.
Yeah.
John Waters kind of look.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Vincent Price had some shit like
Yeah,
that.
he did.
going
Oh
on.
man,
It was like
He's so
it was
good.
like a magic western when they introduced that character. I was like, oh yes, he has to be.
Yes.
That has to be the same guy. Please let it be the same guy. And it was, and I was just so satisfied on the writing.
Yeah.
It's
And
like-
then the fact that Olivia Wilde's character was like, "Oh yeah, my grandma also lives
and they
here."
planted
like,
the
no
bracelet.
doubt.
Like my grandson
yes,
took that.
yes, I totally didn't.
And
see
I was
that
like,
coming.
and she came there, and I was like, "What's she doing there?" Oh, I know what she's doing there. That bitch is her grandma. And like I knew
That's
it right
her
away. As soon as I
As soon
saw
as
her.
she showed up, I was like, "Oh, sons
like,
of
that's
bitch,
smart.
the bracelet."
Yeah, no, that was great. That was really good. Oh man,
That's good
when
business
Alan
right
Arkin dies too. Ugh,
Well,
man. Well,
dies.
dies in quotes, but like that long, like him choking thing, which clearly they just were like, Alan, we're just gonna turn the camera on and you just like go fucking nuts. And he did it for however long, probably 15 minutes, and they
probably
just
did
cut
it
it
for a
together.
long time.
Yeah, like he probably just did that forever.
Shrek 3 already killed that bit though.
Where? Whoa.
Like I was like, oh, I've seen this.
Yeah, Shrek Theory killed a lot of things, like Shrek movies.
killed my faith in humanity.
Yeah,
Killed my
yeah.
marriage.
So many
Oh
things.
man.
the twice, you know, to bitch of ex-wives.
Whoa.
I'm 22, so
Come on, blast these.
we can't. Listen, no. This is the only way this is gonna get out. The one thing that I noticed in that film that was really interesting to me is that they handled magic in a way that wasn't like. They weren't trying to make fun of it. And I thought
Yeah.
from the get-go this was going to be, let's make fun of magic. Let's make
Right.
fun of every aspect of magic. Let's make fun of Siegfried and Roy and all this crap.
Yeah.
And, but they
threw in a couple jabs, dude.
Yeah, but in a way that's like very loving, because even that guy who gets bitten by tigers, like you kind of like that guy.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
and you understand like that's oh man, he's got a hard life. He's got to always be friends with those tigers.
What's brilliant is that they don't show a tiger
Oh.
attack. They don't show anything like that. They're just it's just a story that happens to them. And one of the big
yeah.
things is that they treat it the same way that Ocean's 11 treated con artists. Sorry, I just farted.
the podcast, Zach.
The way that Ocean's 11 treated con artists in the in Ocean's 11, where it's like it's kind of a passing mention. They don't make a big. It's a big part of the story, but they're not like paying attention to it at every corner.
Right.
They're more like focused about what's going on within the characters in that moment. And I felt that that was what this was. It was more about two people behind a stage at that moment of, well, we're in sorts. We're battling out this stuff. We're battling out our whatever feud we have going on right now. And I felt that they handled it very well to the point where they made magic more. It was more of a tribute to magic as opposed to let's make fun of magic. And I think that's what John Francis Daley and his writing partner did so well, is that they made a film that actually made us care about a magician character in the same way that when I was a kid, a very little kid, and I saw Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, and I was like, I want to be a pet detective. Because I was just like, this is not really making fun of pets. This is honoring pets. This is more about this man who's very mentally unstable.
Yeah.
And they made the magic tricks like so outrageous, like when the pigeon came out of the salt glass, like wow.
Right. Well, and that one is so specifically important because the rest of them all feel like tricks, but then what
This one got magical, yeah.
Right, that what Rance's character is trying to prove to us, and the reason why that has to be CG is that he's got to do something there that amazes us, like because it's the only magic trick in the movie that I can remember that is CG.
And the puppy, too.
I think some of them like them doing the coins. The coins are all CG and stuff like that. And you're right, yeah, the puppy I think is
But
as
it's
a pop
edited
but
so cleanly, like it goes from medium shot to a wide, where like it cuts on the action of the thing, and you're just not distracted. You're just like, oh, it's there.
Yeah.
Super organic magic in it, like not fake.
Yeah. But that the salt thing is in there because that has to be that moment where we feel that way, where we're like, oh, right, magic. Because the rest of the magic in the movie is kind of corny, and you never feel that wonder.
Except for what's that guy, Gray?
Steve. But that's not magic. Like they
but he
like
sliced
he
his face, and there was a part in there.
Yes.
That was magic.
But
that's pointing out the idea of like this is a mockery of magic. Like it's a mockery of what like Houdini or something like that would have stood for. Like
and
it's
that
a
is
mockery of it.
That's the only time he even approaches real magic. The rest of it is all
and I
just
like how
like
he kept the scar in it, like the entire time. It wasn't just like makeup or something. It's like
Very
you
cool
really
character
cut that out of
now.
your face.
Yeah.
That ending bit, by the way, with the drill in his big spoiler. His big trick in the movie is he drills in his head. He drills through his skull to a certain point where it doesn't hit all the parts of the brain that affect your senses.
Yeah.
And his thing is just the whole trick's been done, the whole big disappearing audience trick, and he's just like, yeah, well, they wait until they see what I've got ahead. I'm going to drill a hole through my head right here. And it just shows it as there's this big drill bit protruding out of his head.
Yeah.
The best is that scene highlighted Jim Carrey's best aspect, and that's the ability to like move his face into something. If he had one eye over, and he's looking for it, he's like, I got him. Like just like that little minute stuff that guy thinks of when he's breaking down his script and thinking of his character and just making that development. It's like that's something that he brought to the table. Guaranteed Jim Carrey brought that to the table.
Yeah. His line about his senses. I'll still one more than the rest of you.
Yeah. I won't be special anymore.
I was just gonna say, like, the one thing about the movie that didn't work for me was the tricks, because like in their world it would be really impressive, most of the tricks, but as a filmmaker and film watcher, it's just like, well, they could have just cut the frame right there and like switched them out.
That's
and
why
stuff.
I thought it was so cool, though.
It could have been more about, like, it could have been. Well, I get what you're saying. It could have been more about.
Well, it's
them
hard.
As,
it's
them
hard
as
to
people, and less about their tricks per se.
No. I was saying, like, for me, just like I'm less impressed by the tricks because I know like in the real world, if I was like watching on stage, like I would be wondering how'd they do that. But as an audience person, I'm like, well, that was probably CGI, or they probably switched frames. You know, like it's hard to like be impressed by the tricks. You know, while the bird thing was impressive because I was like, what's this going to build to? But at the same time, I'm like, well, it's a CGI bird, you know.
Yeah, but it also was a bit more meaningful because it had that sort of emotional weight to it, where like you did it and you felt like, oh man, like he just hit something.
Yeah. But stuff like the Hangman, like it's one single shot for a good minute or two, but at the end of the day, it's just like, oh well, halfway through that,
there was a cut.
There was a cut, and it switched the characters. So.
Mm-hmm.
That did not. Actually, if you read the credits, there was a whole credit for David Copperfield in the Hangman trick.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So
man.
It must be a real
So
trick.
he probably choreographed that one for it.
Yeah, so maybe David Copperfield revealed his secrets and showed them how to
True
do it.
TV's got it. Have you guys ever seen Magicians? I'm a huge magic buff. I love magic. I've been doing magic ever since I was in high school. And there's a TV show out called Magician's Secret Revealed. And it's like this magician revealed all his secret magic tricks, and he wore a mask for the first 2 seasons. And he didn't want to tell people who he was. Yeah, I think, was it on Fox? I saw all the replays like on one like 4-day binge of like the marathons of this, and I watched like everything. And this magician who has a mask reveals all his secrets and teaches you how he does every single like the car getting crushed and like some really brilliant stuff. And they teach you the sleight of hand, that's like the sleight of eye of having a dummy roll in, and like everything's trapdoors of magic. And the scene where Burt Wonderstone was drunk kind of showed like how hokey and possible it is if you have the smoke, and like it kind of exposed the true of the sleight of hand and how easy it is, and they're trying to trick you with looking at stuff.
Yeah.
But I wasn't distracted too much by the on-screen magic because the story was, I was kind of like engaged in that, which was cool, but like still.
And well, I mean, being a filmmaker, like how all those tricks are done, and that's why I thought it was cool. Like the $100 bill in his shirt there, like got it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, all those edits were funny to the magicianry.
I think that some of the magic helped push character development, especially like Steve Buscemi giving the guy a $100 bill. I felt like that was
totally.
That was a magic trick that was
a save the cat moment.
Organic, yeah, save the cat moment. If you read the Blake Stern Save the Cat, like it was something that made you really like that character, like made you drawn to that character, and that was done through magic. And a lot of the, especially with Alan Arkin's character, his save the cat moments of teaching him magic were organically made to make you like that character more.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, thanks everybody for stopping by. This has been a Nebulous Visions production of a Real Nerds podcast. Until next time, when we see Olympus Has Fallen.
Oh, is that next week?
It is.
Oh man, best I Heard movie of the year.
Which one? Which movie?
Olympus Has Fallen.
You can follow us on Twitter at @real_nerds. Tweet us, like I just said. Send us an email, realnerds@gmail.com. Realnerdspodcast.com is our amazing new website.
Yeah.
Like us on Facebook. Call us. 720-6nerds5.
Can I just say one thing before we leave? Is I've listened to your guys' podcast all past 2 weeks since I knew we were going to be on and talking with Brad and whatnot, and we were and I generally studied prior, and your podcast is one of the best.
Thanks. That's really nice of you to say. Oh man, that's
good night, everybody.
Oh, that was really nice.
No, your podcast is one of the best one of the best not even locally made, just like one of the funniest like film nerd podcasts that I listen to, because you guys are like people that I hang out with.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It was very nice to know that like I hang out with these like same kind of, we're all nerds and we have this kind of like, you know, like this very skewed point of view of just like, what if the dirtiest thing happened to these people? And so to hear it from real people like that, like in the vein of Brian Johnson or Walt Flanagan, something like that, like that's what I feel you guys hit on. So I just want to say thank you for having us on.
Oh, no.
That's the idea. Thanks for
thanks for being on. One more time, hit up where we can find you guys at and what you're working on.
You can find us on Facebook.com/Twombly, TWOMBLEY, or Facebook.com/The Boy Who Stares. Spencer Kane and I are also working on a web series called The Rise of Spencer Kane, and it's all about him becoming an actor and the many adventures he endures along the way.
Something important. I did not come up with this idea. I want to point that out straight away.
At no point did I want to rise.
Definitely.
I wanted to stay in bed.
With me.
Ryan's idea.
Yeah, like I play Spencer Kane's manager, like agent, and he shows up to my office, and then I pull up in a van. I'm like, oh, I got kicked out. Come in here, and I have a desk in the back of my van, and I'm like, where are my papers at? Like we're all hanging out in the back of my van.
Like the mob boss in Brick.
Exactly.
Well, it's like Entourage. You know how Entourage is, how he's already on top, and everyone knows him. It's going to be like way before Entourage, like, to the point where he's like chomping at the bit.
Yeah, very cool.
Before he had somebody like Jeremy Piven on his
you can see Spencer and I's work at he's in everything I've made from
I work real close with Matt and Zach, so I don't really have any technology because I'm hard.
Yeah,
I mean it's hard for me to deal with.
We're trying to slice the guy up a reel, but you know, you only do so much at one time.
Hey, Maddie, I will say one thing. My favorite thing about Synergy is when the drug cartel guy sticks his arms out and the eagle screeches. I thought it was badass.
The eagle is my favorite sound effect.
I tell you right now, like, I rarely get stoned in front of movies, but one of the biggest movies that I'll get stoned in front of is Synergy.
Dude, Synergy got
that moment, along with this is some damn good popcorn chicken. Are two of the funniest moments.
Or you know what? And I also love too, because I love goofy things in movies where it said El Pollo popcorn or what?
Free popcorn chicken.
Yeah, in Spanish, it was really.
I think
funny.
I actually ate some of that.
Yeah.
That movie's had two big weird things in the kind of weird offset counterculture. It's banned from our Nevada high school because it got caught, like the DVD case got caught with some kids with pop brownies, and they were like gonna eat pop brownies at lunch and watch Synergy.
Which is the first time that we've had something that got banned like that. We're just like, oh my god, really?
And not even for content. Like it's because somebody else used it poorly.
It's someone messed it up, and then it somehow got leaked online, and it got spread across CU's campus for a while last year. And we were at a party, and these girls were like, "Oh, you guys got this movie down here too?" And they picked up Synergy's case. And I was like, "Oh, that's my movie." And like, they took pictures of me and sent to their friends. And like the highlight of it all was I saw an Instagram of someone dressed up as me and Spencer's character for Halloween. And at like a Boulder party, like there was like a bunch of Boulder people in the background. I was like, dude with the mustache, clearly, and the guy with the fedora, clearly, like us, like our two characters, like it had to be. And I was like,
that's awesome.
It's RJ and Tim Sanchez to a fault. It's incredible.
Yeah, and like I tried, I saved a picture of my phone, so like I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like that's how it all kind of culminates.
It's how we know we're doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's a nice payoff for what you've doing. You connected with somebody, and that's the greatest thing you can ever have.
Absolutely. And dude, what are the odds that we work at the same place?
I know, seriously. No, that's weird. Well, and it's because I don't know, Nick the vendor who comes in the morning all the time, the cool guy. Yeah. Like I was just telling him about the show one time, and he was like, "How did you talk to Spencer about his thing?" And I was like, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about." And so that's why, like, I came to you initially, and then 2 weeks later, a month later, or something, Brad all of a sudden was like, "Hey, these guys make good movies," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I know."
I'd seen you before, and we saw Batman on the same night at the IMAX you were there,
Oh, that's
but
right.
I didn't know you, so I didn't say hello. So
That's
I was
right.
just like,
Yeah.
You
When
recognize
we
the
were all
funny
there,
face
we
from
were
work?
all there in shirts and you know for the show.
Nice.
If it were now,
yeah.
we'd be sitting with you, giving you high fives and sharing popcorn. Zeast.
Cool.
But you can find my stuff at Matt R. O'Connor, and our Vimeos can be found from there. And then funnier.com/Matty O'Connor, and you can see all our little shorts that we've made for that. And a quick note about why Burt Wonderstone's so great is because I was taught magic, but I'm pretty sure by the mob, because my dad was a union leader, and every year they'd send us to Vegas for a union conference.
Oh, wow.
He was a train driver, and
To teach you how to disappear a body.
well, they were talking about where they're going to put the bodies on the train carts too. Like my dad was a union boss for the railroad, and it's like Grand Junction, the biggest place between Utah and Denver, and they would bring us to Utah or to Las Vegas for conferences where they would talk to all the union bosses at once, and then we would go to the magic places, and I learned magic through, thankfully, the mob putting that on so they can figure out where they can do all this stuff. And then I would used to get cut in the lunch line every day at school, and I was doing magic tricks all the time, like trying to learn how to VHS tape myself. That's why I was really drawn to this movie, because I learned from a VHS tape of this magic guy. I forgot his name, but I learned everything from VHS tape that I got from that store in Las Vegas, and I was doing tricks, and I would get cut every day in the lunch line by these same guys, definitely MS-13. Like they had straight inner city Grand Junction High School. And they noticed I was doing card tricks one day, and they kept bringing me up. And they're like, "Hey, magic kid!" And I do magic tricks for them, like the same 5, 6, 7 magic tricks every day for them, for maybe a solid year. And they would bring me up to the front of the lunch line with them every day, because I used to get cut, and I used to be I would walk in late, and they'd be like, "Hey, Maddie, hey, magic kid, come up!" And they call me magic kid, and I go do magic tricks for MS-13. I didn't get beat up for 13 seconds. I just had to do the magic tricks for a year. And I used to get messed with so much in high school before that.
What did you say? MS-13?
Dude, the Mexican gang.
With the 13, the jerseys?
Like the Mexican gang that spray paints the Sutra, I'm not sure if exactly that. I might be blowing smoke on my ass, but it was definitely a scary Mexican Grand Junction gang.
That is a Grand Junction gang.
They wore the gloves. They had whatever gang has the 3 little dots on their hands right here, and they would wear gloves to cover it up. Like Grand Junction was like a hub of some scary shit. And I was going to Grand Junction High School, and the same terrifying gang of same Hispanic gang would just, "Hey, magic kid," and I do the same tricks, just terrified, all the way up there, and just cutting the lunch line with them. And before long, I was never messed with after that.
You
never
lived
with
this
people.
movie.
Knew that they liked me, and I used to get my shirts ripped. I would throw in a trash can. After that, never again.
Wow.
Thanks to
magic saved your
It's
life.
got me laid a couple
I'm glad
times. I
you
love
didn't
magic.
I'm glad you didn't know what MS-13 was, though, because I was just trying to play it cool,
Oh,
you
yeah.
did before. I was just here no, I'm not going to ask that question.
Have you not seen?
I know all about MS-13. That's my favorite movie.
You see Sin Nombre? Sin Nombre. It's on Netflix. It's like a crazy MS-13 gang movie. The guys with tattoos on their face that say MS-13.
Huh.
Sin Nombre. That's that gang. It's originated from
Weird.
down there, and it's everywhere.
But do they wear jerseys, sports jerseys with the number 13?
Sometimes they wear nothing with just giant back tattoos.
Sometimes they just wear guns, man. Just guns all over. There's suits made out of guns.
You can tell because they're pointing it at your face.
Yeah.
And they're so well buff is from picking all the fruit down there.
That's
in
right.
Dude,
I picked
I think-
peaches for a PSP back in high school
I think
for
just
months.
General racism might be a good place to end.
Yeah.
my stepfather's Mexican, so I can say that.
I want to
stuff.
point out that they get their shirts from the Big and Tall store because they're always way too big for them.
We'll end on that racist one.
That
was the peak.
Oh.
Eastman's about ready to take it home, Ace.
I just wanted to let everybody know we might have participated in one of the longest episodes of Real Nerds Podcast.
Oh, straight up.
Except for
Oh,
Creative.
straight up.
Special number 92. We got
Maybe
it.
a cliffhanger
We
up
have
in
to.
here.
This is a giant issue. This is like when X-Men was reintroduced and they
giant,
introduced Wolverine.
giant-sized Real Nerds podcast.
Yeah.
We
for
also
sure.
apologize. We're going to let all the listeners know that we showed up with a bunch of beer. They didn't drink any of it, and us 3 drank 3 6-packs.
No, I had a beer.
You had one?
We're just we don't know how to talk to these guys. We're really we're just extremely nervous. It's
You figured it out.
I had to pee before the movie.
I drank a bunch, but you didn't see it because I performed magic.
Oh, my
And-
God. Make this
that's
beer
legit.
disappear. Dude, Burt Rundestone, he could have date raped that whole audience. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
That's
And
true.
you know what? If he didn't learn his lesson from earlier, he might have.
He could have. That could have been a weird character arc. If it was Travis Bickle, the magician, I would have been like, "What's happening?"
See, there you go. In a raunchier modern comedy, we would have seen the scene where he decided to go ahead and pick one of those nasty old ladies from the audience and have sex with them. Like that would have been one of those jokes that they would have thrown in. Yeah.
Luckily, they stopped giving the American Pie director money.
Oh man. All right. Bye.
I love you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for listening, guys.
And this has been a Nebulous Visions production.
He already said that.
Of a Real Nerds podcast.
It
I
has.
said that earlier. Bye.
Bye.
Batman.
We're gonna come back in a week and make it real longer.
For real this time.
Yep.
Even better.